I'm a little under the weather. Brad's feeling like a poop. I'm
also feeling under the weather.
like a poop
Yeah, but how come you're feeling under the weather and I'm feeling like a poop?
because I'm on the mend.
Oh, okay.
Can I be honest with you? I think poops all happen under the weather.
Yeah.
I think they do.
Unless you're on a plane.
yeah.
No,
No, because you can still have weather.
I think I pooped
Some.
on a plane once.
Guys, what is weather?
Yeah. What's
weather.
Get Joe Rogan. What is weather?
I don't believe in it.
Yeah. Get Robert Kennedy.
Yes.
What is weather?
Yep.
Judas, that guy.
Who is Robert Kennedy?
He's running for president.
RFK.
Yes.
He is a Kennedy.
I know.
And he is not good.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Haven't heard a lot of policy from him, but I did hear that he had brainworms, and I think he brought a dead bear in somewhere recently.
This just happened today. Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Oh,
released
come on.
a thing.
I like this guy already. Brainworms, dead bears. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but that's what it is. It's like if the world was Chuck's,
Yeah.
Robert Kennedy would be president. That's all you need to
If the
know.
world
And
was
that's what you
Chuck's.
should say in the debate. Whoever debates him, I'm assuming Jill Stein.
Well, there's no one out there to speak up for the ones of us who have brainworms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not represented.
I just know that at the debate, he's not going to come out to hail to the chief. It's going to be yakety sax. That's his entrance music.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about his
Or
brainworms?
Teddy Bear's Picnic.
Tell me about these brainworms.
He said he had a brainworm.
What does that mean?
Exactly.
That like a disease, like
A worm is not a disease.
well, like you eat bad food and you get worms in your tummy, right? This is like that,
This
except
is when
instead
you
of your
read
tummy.
a bad thing, it gives you the worm.
Yes.
You know what I
He's
mean?
read a lot of bad things.
Yeah, it's giving me the worm.
I will say, coming up with an idea of like, I'm dumb because I have brainworms is very funny.
yes.
Sure.
I
So
don't
do you like him as president?
No.
Oh,
No.
That was so close though.
I do.
Yes.
I will say, it is
Horseshoes
fun.
and hand grenades.
It is fun to think about like where we are as a country.
Culture?
As a country.
I don't know that fun is the right word.
What, no. What? Let me get to the
Okay.
gist of the bit here. The G of the B. The Gib.
Barry.
Barry Gibb. Yeah, Gibby. The Thanksgiving ghoul.
He has it done already.
It's written.
That's very exciting.
I'm
is exciting,
so
yeah.
ready to record
well,
it.
Gibby's dead. Remember?
Well,
Oh, they never found the body, which is true. Which is true. Like in our storyline, they never found the body.
I mean, you know,
it's like any good villain.
Trilogies, the rule of threes. So like
Yeah.
a trilogy, I'm just saying at the end, is Gibby going to be conventionally done? And like
Ooh.
thoroughly 100%, no way is Gibby coming back from this.
Yeah.
Trilogies.
And then I heard that the next Thanksgiving, it's going to be announced the day after Halloween.
We're gonna-
to lead up to it that Gibby is actually being recast as Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, "Wow, how's that going to go?"
Yeah.
Right? And half of the people are like, "This is super great," and the
Yeah.
other half of the people are like, "This is a clear sign that they're flailing."
We're going to
Right.
we're going to reboot Gibby with an all-female cast.
I'm for it.
Yeah.
I'm for it. That just means we're not in
Yeah,
it.
Gibby is
Gibby can go bother
Gibby
some chicks.
Gibby is pretty gender fluid.
can I tell you how excited I am?
How did we get here from?
Gib, just to the
Gib.
bit.
Robert- You said Gib.
Yeah,
Just to the bit.
Robert Ken.
I was just gonna say I can't say
Bob Ken, that's
how
what I call him.
excited I am that we have a podcast where every Thanksgiving we have a new chapter in a story.
That is absolutely terrible.
It's like
Yeah.
This year.
insane. We definitely have some brainworms. That's the thing.
Well, here's the thing. I think one of us
One of us has
is
enough
a
brainworms.
brainworm.
Yes. One of us has enough brainworms for the three of us.
Yeah. If you get it really quiet, you can hear what sounds like Rice Krispies, and it's the brainworms eating the brain.
So it's RFK. Is he stupid and he's blaming it on brainworms, or is he crazy and he's hoping it's just brainworms?
No, he said he already had the brainworm.
Yeah.
And they go
and
away.
it's now gone. Like, this is a man who just today released a video to get ahead of some article that's him telling Roseanne Barr
Yes.
that he had a dead bear cub and left it in Central Park, I think, and made it look like a bicyclist killed it.
Oh, I did see that.
This is insane. This
So
wouldn't work.
does he have your vote?
I mean, what are his policies? I like bear cubs though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a bear cub in this cave.
All right.
So the fun thing about this country,
Yeah.
you were saying,
Oh,
the
it's
gist of
just
the bit.
that, like, I think a good signifier of where we are is, like, we can talk about presidential candidates for the Dems and pubs all day long. But the funny thing is, like, all of the tertiary ones throughout history of this is like so comical.
They're kooky.
And my thing is, like, that's a signal that, like, we're doing something wrong, right? When all of the ones that are competitors to the big two are lunatics.
Yes.
Genuinely.
But Bernie's not lunatic.
No, Bernie was a Democratic candidate.
But he kind of fell out. He didn't actually get the vote, though, right?
Right, but he didn't continue running.
But he wasn't going to be like a weird
He wasn't
third-party
then,
guy.
I'm going to be an independent.
I see what you mean.
He then backed Hillary.
Is Vermin Supreme still alive?
Oh, I hope. I hope Vermin Supreme
Vermin
is
Supreme.
still alive.
I remember Vermin Supreme.
Okay, good.
That guy wore like a boot in his head.
Yes. To keep the worms out.
And it worked. It works.
Hold on.
Hey, Bob can.
Wait, can I make a little argument?
Okay.
Oh, good.
The lunatics on the fringe, the fringe loons. I mean, they gotta have a place to be. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Well, that's good.
It's called an asylum.
I like them.
Which Robert Kennedy is firmly against claiming any sort of, amnesty of any kind.
I mean, the Kennedy family and Asila, yikes.
Just the Kennedy family having anything in their heads that they don't want there.
Yeah, just...
I was gonna
Worms
say.
or bullets.
I was gonna say. Well, I was gonna say.
I was going to say the ice pick.
I was gonna
yeah.
say. Didn't one of his relatives have a slug in his brain? Or,
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Funbearable. I'm Brad Rohr.
I'm Ray. If you actually look at the footage of the John F. Kennedy assassination, it was not a bullet. The worm in his brain exploded. Harrington.
I'm Chuck. For sure, got worms in his brain state.
We are back recording together.
Wow.
After a couple week hiatus.
Yeah, I think so. I think we got all beefed up for our 100th episode.
Yes.
Ray went out to Colorado.
You got beefed up. I got chubbed up.
Wow.
Yeah.
I went out to Colorado at the same time.
Yep.
That's unfortunately didn't get to. The days didn't line up. I'm too far away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were there. We did overlap. There was a Venn diagram of me in Denver and you in Denver, and you just didn't care enough to
it wasn't.
pursue.
No, there wasn't.
All right.
What day did you get there?
You got worms in your brain.
Yeah.
I didn't get there till Thursday.
Okay, but I was there Tuesday to
Not in Denver.
Monday to Monday, actually.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you were living in Denver, but you were like performing in Vail.
Sure.
That was like 3
in
hours
all
away.
other towns.
But they were all far away.
Oh, damn.
I know.
This shouldn't be in the podcast.
I tried. I looked at all the dates.
Yeah,
They were all
You
very
guys
far away.
were both Coloradan.
Yeah, we were both in Colorado at the same time.
Coloradian.
Yeah, different places.
Yeah. We'll get into all of that. But first,
Oh, good.
Okay.
to start the podcast after we went through politics, yuck. What the fuck's wrong with us?
Brainworms.
Yeah. I think we should all get tested.
If there's a test for it, I really genuinely feel ill and my head hurts. Is it sinus pressure or is
That's
it
just recording the
Can
podcast.
I tell you something?
Yes.
I'm just going to say
happens all
this.
the time.
We're going to get
Brainworm.
into your bit right now, but I'm just going to say one thing about worms before we go.
Okay.
There are things that people said about tapeworms in my life where I'm growing up and there people are saying all these things. I don't know what's fact, what's fiction. You guys talk about brainworms.
Yeah.
And I'm like, could be real, could be not.
Damn.
Well,
and you were growing up and it was the 90s.
We'll do the roar on tapeworms for a future episode.
My buddy John Zaluga
Don't do
told me
that.
when he was at Staten Island Community College, he's a writer on Impractical Jokers.
Yeah.
He said that there was a tapeworm in the urinal. And I'm like, is that real? Is that fake? Is that possible?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know how I don't know how a tapeworm leaves the body.
How about this? I don't think you should get medical advice from a Staten Island community college.
Who's a writer for the Impractical
Person.
Jokers?
Yeah.
That's great.
Is he,
That's
I'm
great.
sorry, did you say doctor for the Impractical
Yeah.
Jokers?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
They're doing all these things to avoid paying them writers' salaries.
Oh, it's sad. It's sad.
I'd rather pay him as a doctor.
He's a doctor.
Yeah.
He's a doctor.
What if we get like a bunch of funny doctors? Is that something? I don't know. This one doctor, he says there was a tapeworm in a urinal. Get him in here.
Yeah. Hilarious. Classic
gonna have good
Staten
ideas.
Island comedy.
That's great.
Okay, now Q. Start gesturing towards the urinal. Start gesturing towards the urinal.
Sal, piss out your tapeworm.
There's a little microphone on the tapeworm instead of the coffee cup. It's on the tapeworm.
Oh, we can see the lav.
Guys, I have good news.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
All right. Fun boys and fun listener viewers, it's time again. Some time has passed. Therefore, I have refilled the tank of bad characters. Yay! We need a theme song for bad characters, and it should be like 2 seconds long.
Yeah.
And it's just like
I want it to be like bad to the bone. Maybe it could be this. Dan-dan-dan-dan-dan. Like that.
Okay. All right.
Like that.
I mean, Weird Al, you aren't, but other than that,
That was also going to be the Gibby theme song for this year's.
That's also Robert F. Kennedy's campaign song when he comes out. Robert F. Kennedy. I killed a bear, I guess. That's new. Yeah. By the way, is it wild that we're like, I said when it happened, 2 weeks from now, no one's going to give a shit. The Trump pew-pew situation. It is wild that we truly have just been like, yeah, whatever that happened. Yeah. Right? I think we would have talked more if he said, oh, I just farted. Like, if he did that at the podium, we'd be talking about that longer than the whole situation. Then a man was shot and killed. Yeah. And, I know. And then the ear is fine, and we're just... Everyone's like, yeah, he was probably faking. He was probably faking the thing. He had the comically large bandage that everybody liked for one day, and now we're done. And I feel like everybody's just like, yeah, whatever. There was an assassination attempt. Who cares?
I think that the presidential race right now and the way that the divisiveness of the country has kind of ramped up every moment has turned the 24-hour news cycle into a 90-minute news cycle.
90-second news cycle.
It's so crazy.
It's insane. Like, we're done with that. We're on to like a weird tertiary third candidate killed a cub. I think. Yeah. I think that's what happened.
Well,
you know
since
what I mean?
then we got JD Vance too.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. All the JD Vance stuff has happened after that. I think, right?
Is that one of your characters, JD Vance?
No. JD
yet.
Vance does sound like a.
He sounds like it is a fake name. It is an artificial name. Yeah.
But it also sounds like a board that you would hear in a car commercial. Mm-hmm. That it was rated like the #1 safety vehicle by the JD Vance Foundation
so
or
close
something.
to JD Power. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't like it.
And also the refrigerator person from.
I mean, we're all voting for Trump. We know that. But other than that,
I'll make a confession. I believed the couch thing when it initially was announced.
I'm at a point where shit comes out and I'm like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'll wait until someone confirms or denies. But right now, like,
probably.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, no.
I'm like, I never read the book. Maybe he did talk about it in there. I read The Sympathizer. That guy had some weird sex.
Sure, that is
He
true.
had sex with a squid.
No, I don't want to do that.
No.
They have a beak.
I think it was...
You are famously anti-beak.
Well,
anything with a beak, you're like, I don't want to put it in there.
Me and Brad had a big fight because he told me a soccer player got a blowjob from a dog. I said, "There's no way he could do that because the dog has a beak."
This was like episode 5 of the Chuck and Brad podcast.
Are you on my side? Are you on my side?
Oh, I'm on no side.
An animal with a beak cannot give a blowjob.
It was like an Australian rules.
You're vermin. You're the vermin man with the boot hat.
I'm vermin supreme. Yes. Please.
Let's hear some of your characters.
Yeah, remember when we were trying to do this? And we're just like, what if we talk about nonsense? You know, like we usually do. Yeah. But, all right, vermin. Bad characters.
Yes.
So, pop, whatever. So whenever I have 3 collected, I do this on the podcast. This is insane. What are we doing? Our show is loose at best. And it's moments like this where I'm like, oh, there's just nothing here. You know what I mean? This is the loosest.
No way. Everyone's loving this thing.
All right.
People are pausing it because they're laughing too hard.
Yeah, at us. Not with us.
If you've had to pause this episode because you're laughing too hard, please see your brainworm doctor.
Yes.
You may be infected.
All right, this one is probably happening. There's people that are probably exactly like this right now in this moment. This is a Gen Z Mainer I'm from Maine.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Maine accent is, it's a thing.
Yep.
Right? You're a big Stephen King Pet Cemetery fella.
He's always doing Sometimes Dead is Better. He's walking around saying that all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what if,
Was the
someone
title of
was
his dating
born
profile.
in, 2010?
Yeah.
Right?
Gen Alpha, Gen Z, right there.
Yeah, somewhere on the line, the cusp. If they weren't alive for 9/11,
Yep.
they're Gen Z.
Yeah.
That's what I feel in my mind brain.
Interesting.
That's full of worms. Gen Z Mainer. He's got the Rizbub, no cap.
That's fun.
Gross.
You see Alden's new Kahat? His drip is fire for real, for real.
There you
Oh,
go.
it doesn't sound right.
He's given Paul Bunyan, fam. He's wicked sus though.
I mean,
I like it.
That's my.
I'm on
Gen
board
Z
for
Mainer.
that one. Yeah.
This is the second one. That was the first.
Yeah.
This is the second, and they're in no particular order.
Got it.
It doesn't go like best to worst, worst to best, because they're all the worst.
This Gen Z New Hampshire.
Gen Z, New Hampshire. It's very similar.
Yes.
Person who this is a person who has only read swears, never heard them out loud, auditioning for a film.
Got it.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you, okay. This is it. He's playing a real rough and tumble guy.
Yeah. It's for a Tarantino film.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Chuck. You beat Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, all right. It's
He's just
you
very
were working
judicious.
on the character earlier when you were jerking off to those feet pics.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so this is a person who has only read swears.
Yep.
Auditioning for a rough and tumble character in a film.
Got it.
Fuck you, as Joel.
Oh, good.
You bastard. You son of a bitcha.
That's fun.
That's it. That's the whole character.
I like it.
Bitcha is very fun to say. And then finally, and this is going to happen again. So, just accept that, viewer, listener, that this is going to continue.
Yeah.
Yeah. These ideas will still happen in my brain, and I will put them in the phone, and then I will foist them upon you and the
Lot
viewer
of
at
foisting.
home. This is finally a gender-swapped Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman.
Okay.
Okay.
Named Jules Roberta in Pretty Man.
Okay.
This is a scene from the gender-swapped movie Pretty Woman.
Yep.
Now called Pretty Man.
Yes.
Starring Jules Roberta.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the famous scene.
Yes.
Where Robert Gere snaps the necklace box closed.
Richard Gere. Yes.
Robert Gere. I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, I
I
was
think
gonna
I
say-
have a worm. I caught worms.
Yeah.
This is, the scene?
Yep.
She's reaching for the necklace. He snaps it. She laughs.
Yeah.
So this is the scene. This is the character,
Got it.
Jules Roberta in Pretty Man. Ha 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 ha. That's
I believed you were a
That was
prostitute.
good.
yeah. That movie. Can we talk about that for a second?
I haven't really watched Pretty Woman as an adult.
Okay. You only watched
Only as a
Hookers with a Heart of Gold movies when you were a child.
I think my
Milk Money.
I love milk. Oh my god, I'm gonna just so
What you just said was you didn't finish the title. You said half of the title. So the exact line that you just said was, "I love milk. Oh man, I'm gonna jizz."
that also true.
Also true.
I feel like Pretty Woman was one of those movies that was so big
Yeah.
that I saw so many references to it
Sure.
in pop culture that I'm like, I got it.
Yeah.
But I
I
don't
get
think I
that.
ever watched
yeah.
it.
I saw it.
I'd like to watch it.
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces when I was a kid, and then I saw, which was a different movie, Bits and Pieces.
Yeah.
And that was also a hooker with a heart of gold.
Yeah.
It was pieces of silver, and it was bits of her body.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was a weird movie.
I like that.
And
It was Terry Gilliam.
yes, yeah, it was very strange. It was in that Time Bandits, Baron Munchausen
Yeah.
kind of world, Brazil, if you will, and I do. That's a bumper sticker that I have on my car. Brazil, if you will, and I do.
Why do we get like this after we
After-
don't record for a little bit?
It
This
just
is
happens.
this is something I think that a team of therapists should analyze.
We just get giddy. I think we get giddy to do all the
I
things,
know,
and we
I
have a
think we
little bit
do.
of subconscious stuff collected.
It's this.
What's happening to your hand?
This is our brains on worms.
I saw that ad. I saw that ad.
I love Rachel Lee Cook.
Oh my god! When her hands are shaking.
Yes.
So anyway, but my point is, Pretty Woman, because my plan was to do those three, end with the Pretty Man, and then talk about Pretty Woman for a second, because I was thinking about this after I tapped that into my phone, that idea for that bad character, right? And I was taking a shower this morning, and I was heading over here, and I'm thinking about Pretty Woman. It's kind of wild that movie was so huge.
Yes.
Right? It was a huge romantic comedy.
Yeah.
But that romantic comedy, in the stark, cold light of day, is a movie about a prostitute. It's a rom-com about a prostitute and a John falling in love.
Yes.
Finding love together.
Right.
Where, like, a common thread that people understand is from that movie is no kissing.
Yeah.
The rule, no kissing. Part of this huge, massive blockbuster movie that is a rom-com for the ages. Women loved that movie. Part of the callback thing that you can really adhere to is, when we're fucking, don't kiss me because that's too emotional.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It is.
It's wild that Pretty Woman is what it is. We're going to do a movie where a really rich guy picks up a prostitute, and then they end up falling in love.
Yeah.
That's the movie.
Can I give you an idea? Maybe this is a theory.
Sure.
I think when there is a thing that's well known that's kind of very sexual, and almost like you don't really talk about it, like strip clubs or prostitutes, when you hear a rule, people like to hear like a simple rule because it implies other things.
Sure.
So it's like if you have a prostitute, no kissing.
Yeah.
Because there's so much unsaid that it gives you a little bit more, just like with strippers, it's like no touching or something, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it almost like kind of gives you a little bit more to that world without being too dirty.
No, I understand. I just think it's insane that an extremely mainstream movie starring two extremely safe lead actors in a pretty traditional rom-com scenario.
Yeah.
But that scenario is a hooker and a John.
Yeah, I think it's
a sex worker and
I was gonna say it's weird that
receiver.
that it hit when it did.
What do we say? 92, 91?
Yeah, because people were not pro sex work at the time.
This is my thing. Is like we, as a society, we used to be like, whores, hookers, all that stuff, and it was always seen as this thing, even just in a like cold business sense.
Yeah.
Going like, we'll make the movie. Well, who are we going to cast as the prostitute?
Yeah.
The most unprostitute actress I could ever think of.
Right.
Julia Roberts. She's so not believable as a prostitute. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is this weird? Am I an insane person?
She's jolly. I know what you mean.
You're describing Santa again, Chuck.
She's jolly. She's generous.
She wears that red suit.
Yeah, she's got that beautiful beard.
I think in terms of like who she
We've already established she's a giver.
Who she is and who she was at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if any other A-list actress is more or less prostitute-y than she is, though, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I guess
Demi Moore was also in Striptease.
I would believe Demi Moore as a sex worker before Julia Roberts. Something about Julia Roberts' like whole being is like, just like if you didn't even know who she was and you saw like a headshot, you'd be like, no, that's not the prostitute we're looking for.
I don't know if I feel that.
I apologize for saying prostitute all the time instead of sex worker, because I think that's the appropriate
the only thing
nomenclature.
is sex worker is very general. It could mean 1,000 things.
Yeah, these days.
Well, I just mean
back in the day, back in my day when I was a kid, if you wanted to see a sex worker, you'd have to get in the car, you'd have to drive down to the seedy part of town, you'd have to drive past some ladies standing out there in clothes that say, I'm a prostitute, and then you pick one, you stop, they come to the window, you would risk being arrested, then you'd have to pay for a motel and do situation there, unless you do it in the car, that's fine, whatever. But that's what we used to do.
These kids now with
kids
their
these days, they get it in their phones and they bleep blop, and then there's a sex worker 100,000 miles away, and they're on their phone going bleep blop, and that's sex work. It's so impersonal.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
I agree.
You know how I love?
I do think it's a general term, though. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I agree.
I think it's not specific.
But in this scenario, I'm going to say prostitute because that's what
I mean.
The character is.
No, I think so. I think if you are on OnlyFans and you never meet up with anyone, you're a sex worker. I think if you're a stripper, you're a sex worker, and I think if you're a prostitute, you're a sex worker.
This is your new Jeff Foxworthy that you were working on?
So it's hard to say, like, do you see this person as a sex? It's just it's just general.
If you take pictures of your feet?
You know what I mean?
You might be a sex worker.
It's a little too general to the argument you're arguing.
Sorry for making everybody scream at home when I hit that high pitch.
It's scaring the worms right out of their brains.
Yeah, that's what we do. It looks like when Beetlejuice did his big scary face. My thing with this movie though is like this was an extremely mainstream rom-com, and in it George Costanza attempts to sexually assault our lead actress.
Sure did, yeah.
There's an attempted rape in the movie. Yeah. No, it's not. It didn't happen.
No, I know. But I mean, I didn't know that was in the movie. And
you're like, oh man,
it was
another Seinfeld character I have to defend.
Yeah. Jason Alexander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is he? What happens?
He's a coworker friend of Richard Gere, and he, I think, like 2/3 of the way into the movie, is like, you're a prostitute. Like they're alone in a room somewhere, and like he goes to see Richard Gere, but Richard Gere's not home or whatever she is, and he's like, well, you're a prostitute. Like you're already paid for, whatever. And he's like coming towards her and like taking his belt off or something like that. Like essentially, like I'm going to do this because you're just a prostitute.
Right.
And she's like, no, I have agency. I'm my own person. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And show up in a limo and maybe we'll talk.
Boom.
I don't know.
Hands
I don't remember.
I think he said, hey, you get your damn hands on her.
George.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm George. Yes. No, you're George. Oh, man. No. And then they both sat down and cried.
Yeah. Can I give you some exciting news? They're announcing this week for Rhode Island ComicCon, which you know that Brad and I moderate at. It's
Richard Gere.
I don't know all the guests. It's Back to the Future week.
As of right now, they've announced one.
Well, it's Monday, so they'd go by to the best.
Okay.
I didn't say the first word. They go to like the most...
Strickland.
Strickland was the first one.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But they're going to probably do 5.
Yeah.
So who were we thinking they would announce? If you're going to have 5 people at a con in 2024 from Back to the Future.
Leah Thompson, because I know she does that kind of stuff.
Christopher Lloyd, I think, does.
I think so.
I think he does.
Yeah.
Probably not Crispin Glover.
Not Crispin Glover.
No,
Crispin doesn't.
I know.
I mean, they had the lawsuit and everything, which is totally different now. Damn, there's too many tangents that we need to go off.
This is what I mean.
So, I think Leah Thompson, probably Biff.
Oh,
yeah.
You know,
Tom Wilson.
Tom Wilson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you again, Tom Wilson, for being in Be a Man. That was wonderful.
Yep. Yeah.
And hugging me and all the things. That was his phase. When I met him, he was going through that phase of like, which he was in for a long, long time, which was distancing himself from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And like, you know, famously, he's like, I won't sign anything anymore. That is Back to the Future.
I didn't know that. I knew about the song that he does.
Yeah, he'll sign. At the time, I don't know if it's changed now. Like he'll sign stuff, but he won't sign Back to the Future stuff.
Yeah.
But he said it's because when I was working with him, and he had to tell people that, like some people came with stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm really sorry. I can't. I don't do it anymore because anytime I do that, I always see it end up on eBay, and like I want to sign stuff for people, not just for you to sell it.
Yeah.
You know. So I get what he means there.
Yeah, Mark Hoppus was actually caught on like a video recently from Blink-182, and someone was trying to get him to sign a bunch of things, and he was like, "Man, I'm really sorry to do this to you, but like, can you tell me any of our songs?" Because so much of their, I mean, Mark Hoppus just had stage 4 cancer, so like they stopped doing meet and greets because it's like it's just a lot for his body to do the show and all that stuff.
On the 4th stage, I think they're big enough. I mean, that's a huge band. He should be on the main stage. Cancer,
and he was like. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I see this stuff go up on eBay all the time. Do you know anything about us? And I was like, oh, what an awkward position to be put in.
Yeah.
But who do you think? So Strickland was already announced. Leah Thompson.
Yeah. Tom Wilson.
I think Christopher Lloyd, probably.
That'll probably be the big one.
Right.
Yeah.
And then what?
A fifth one.
I said Steenburgen.
That'd be amazing. But, I mean, Billy Zane is huge, and he was in it before he was huge. So would they count that, you think?
Maybe they could tie it in where he was gonna, if somebody like that was gonna be there anyway.
Elijah Wood,
Flea.
Elijah Wood. Imagine if it was Elijah Wood, Flea, Billy Zane.
Yeah, and everybody's like, no, it's Back to the Future week, and everybody, what?
Imagine if me and Brad get to moderate that panel though.
Yeah.
And it comes out the Funbearable feed.
No, that'd be fantastic.
That'd be amazing.
It'll be the first time I go to ComicCon.
Would you go?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I'll get you passes.
And also, my son Finn asked me for the first time. He's like, "Can we go to ComicCon this year?" And I was like, "Yeah,
wow.
We'll do it."
What if we get some cool panels and you and Finn are there? And Finn's cheering me on.
Sure. What about Brad?
He's booing me.
Oh no, he's pretty on Brad. He's like, Brad rules. That's what he's screaming that.
We should be
like,
screaming.
Please.
Yes, please.
Settle down. Settle down.
All right.
Yeah, he's booing Leah Thompson.
Yeah.
They also
Shut up! You fucked a duck. Right? Like that's what he. Oh,
More-
my
weird.
More Chuck and Brad.
What the hell?
Oh my god. Yeah.
You fucked it.
Yeah, that's what you got to say about Leah Thompson. You fucked a duck. Shut up. Like that's all you have to do. If
That's
you ever
mean.
if you were a listener, if you're ever in a fight with Leah Thompson and you want to win, throw down the gauntlet. Just go, look, you fucked a duck. You have no right to say anything about what I do. Right? You fucked a duck.
I will say, what about one of the Jennifers?
Sure.
What's the second one? What's her
I
name?
don't remember her name.
We know her though from other things. I think she was in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Was she in Karate Kid?
Elizabeth
Shue?
Elizabeth Shue. Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Wait, was that the first one or the second one?
Second.
Okay.
Second.
The first one was.
Yeah.
I believe
she stepped out. Backed out.
Actually, can I give you a little Back to the Future trivia?
Please.
Ray probably knows.
Ray definitely knows.
There's actually 3 Jennifers.
Wow.
The first one that was cast.
Oh, right, yeah.
Eventually went on to be in The Office as Jan. But they
Yes.
had
Melora Hardin.
when they got rid of Eric Stoltz, they were like, she's so tall. Michael J. Fox is so
Yeah.
short. That's why they got rid of her.
Yeah.
But the other thing that's really exciting is the other group that they have a ton of people for is Scream. They have Matthew Lillard, Skeet Ulrich, David Arquette, Hayden Panettiere.
Damn, because those people are so busy. I'm surprised they have time to.
I love them. Come
I know.
on,
I'm doing
it's
it. I'm
great.
just doing a joke.
Oh, poor
We're on
guys.
mic. I have to do a joke.
I know.
Legally.
But I'm excited. I
Yeah.
will say last time I talked to the organizers, they were like, Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard kind of have a thing. They don't really need a moderator. But if they do a big Scream panel with like 4 or 5 of them,
Yeah.
maybe we'll be able to do it. That'd be so cool.
I would like to see an SLC Punk
Yes.
panel. Speaking of Matthew Lillard, we
Yeah.
get
Here.
him, Devin Sawa.
Oh,
Wanna hear
good.
something disappointing? I never saw SLC Punk.
Wow.
That's disappointing, especially for a guy who claims to be punk. You know, you're very mall punk.
Wow, don't you dare.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no,
yeah.
you're the mall punk.
I don't claim to be punk at all.
I know. Let's go back to the mall.
What?
Yeah.
I like how you just went, oh, no, you are. And I'm like, it doesn't even apply.
No.
Say something. If anything, tell me I'm in the food court. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah. Oh.
There's some movies that I really feel like I have to, maybe I saw it passively. Trainspotting is another one that I saw definitely when I was like 16.
Sure, yeah.
And it's like, man, over 20 years have passed. I don't think I have any memories of it.
Yeah, it's I loved that movie. That was one of those movies where I was like, "Oh my god." You know what I mean? Like that was it. That hit me in the exact prime time where I was really starting to love film and like understanding that beautiful moment where you go, oh, someone made this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's that period. I had my VCR from my room. I would bring it out to the living room, hook it up to the VCR in the living room.
Yes.
And then I would copy the tape that I just rented. Trainspotting might have been the first one where I was like, oh, I want to do this, and I think I can do it by plugging the 2 VCRs together.
Dude,
yeah.
there's a collection of movies during that time that we probably all have that were like very low budget but really impactful, and it was like Trainspotting, Boondock Saints, Lock, Stock, maybe
Lock, Stock was a huge one.
probably Reservoir Dogs, if not Pulp Fiction.
Sure, yeah.
It's funny because there's a grouping of movies for our age, and it's hard to connect them. I don't know what connects them besides the fact that they're more based on ideas than they are on production.
Sure.
In terms of like a budget and big name actors.
Yeah.
It's more
Yeah.
about the script and the concept and the aesthetic of the film.
Well, and also we're talking about the 90s, and in the 90s, I was thinking about this recently. Like, we've lost this idea, and I think it makes sense with comedies, of course, because comedies are going away, right? Vince Vaughn just had a wonderful thing about that in an interview.
Yeah.
He hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, I agree.
But we've talked a lot about that before, right? And I bang the drum a lot of like bring back comedies. The biggest movie of the year is a straight up R-rated comedy. Yes, it involves a lot of IP, it involves a lot of things, but at the core, like, let's remember what this is. Anyway, I think with comedies and with a bunch of like action movies and like R-rated film in general, in the 90s, like there's the term sitcom, which is short for situation comedy.
Yeah.
Right? Here's a comedy based on a situation.
Right.
I think in the 90s we had a ton of sit movies. I think we had a ton of sit movies where it wasn't based on IP.
Right.
It wasn't based on an actor leading the film, right? Like a movie star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It wasn't like we got there eventually. We got to like, oh, Tom Cruise is doing a Mission Impossible movie.
Yes.
That's big movie star doing an existing IP, right? But there was all this that like Die Hard is a sit movie.
Yeah.
It's literally a situation. Here's a guy in the building stopping the terrorists. The situation has been explained. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course.
Like, tons of that. And the last place that it does exist, like sit movies, is the last place where like low to mid budget film exists, which is horror.
Yes.
All horror is situation based. In this one, what if this? Right?
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
it.
I just saw Trap.
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan. And I, if your expectations are like, let's just see a fun PG-13 thriller, I think you're really going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of reviews that I think, I don't know what people were looking for, but they're like, this isn't a horror movie. And I'm like, no. Have you seen M. Night Shyamalan's movies? They're never, like, Signs is also somewhat like, oh, what's going to happen? There's a lot of tension, but it's never horrific.
I think I would classify Signs as like a
thriller.
No, I think that does lean more towards horror.
Right.
You know,
I hear you, but
it's an alien invasion sci-fi film, but like I think it's got some horror elements to it.
I agree, but I just think it never, like in same thing as Trap, it never gets to the point where you see something that is horrifying.
No, it's true. Yeah. It's tough because like technically, you know, if we owned our own video store, if only. Oh my god, get the monkey paw.
Dude.
I want to make a wish.
Oh.
Get the wish upon. I want to make a wish.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We've only got one left.
I'm willing to risk whatever bad things might happen to you if we can get this movie store. I would love to have a video store. Anyway,
me too.
Like if we were doing that, what was my point? I got so excited about owning a video store.
We're talking about Trap and how I think horrifying happened.
6 Cents.
Yeah.
Like if we owned a video store, we would put 6 Cents in a horror section, right? And I think Signs would probably go in a horror section. But there's plenty of his other movies that wouldn't. Some of them would just go straight up in the trash can. A lot of them would go in the trash can. Pretty much anything like Lady in the Water and then anything else after it would probably go in like the big bin where you get one for $1.
Did you like Split?
Yeah, I liked Split a lot.
Was good.
Yeah,
Me too.
Split was fantastic, and then the reveal at the end of like it takes place
in the world
in that world, is wonderful. I think that's really great.
Me too. I like Unbreakable a lot too.
Unbreakable is just a
great
straight up good movie.
Yeah.
Like
Too.
it's very very well done. I think that's why M. Night Shyamalan became a punchline, because he had made quite a good batch of movies.
Yes,
but then the ism started to take over more than the art.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I agree. I think both of you guys will enjoy Trap as a fun little movie.
Yeah.
Did you see
I saw
Longlegs
Trap
yet?
House.
I never saw
that
Trap.
was different.
Yeah.
That was very different.
Yeah.
And it's not like a Kevin McAllister level like booby traps and things like that. No, Trap House was different.
Right.
I also saw Thirst Trap.
I saw Thirst Trap House.
I liked Thirst Trap.
Thirst Trap was good. You know what I saw Thirst Trap as? A modern Pretty Woman.
Yes.
I thought that you liked Thirst Trap, and then you were worried other people would see that you liked it, so you unliked it.
Yeah. I also liked the follow-up to Pretty Woman, which was Petty Woman.
Yes.
Petty Woman.
Yeah.
Now that's a bad character. I like
and here's what's weird. It was Brad.
Yeah.
Isn't that so weird? It doesn't make sense, but it makes sense.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Did you end up seeing Longlegs yet?
No, I have not seen Longlegs.
I think you will enjoy Longlegs.
Very nice.
Brad and I saw it.
I saw Cobweb, which is adjacent. I think they should all get together and be in one universe.
Yep.
Spider-Verse.
Arachnophobia. the Spider-Verse.
And then an asterisk and not that one.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's great.
Tie him in.
Yeah. Open the episode. That was a good point.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse, not that one. That's funny.
Remember when we went to Denver?
Oh,
and
yeah.
this was going to be this episode. We're 40 minutes in. This is all cold open. We're doing it. It's all cold open.
No, we opened it. We opened it.
Yeah,
JFK,
that's right.
yeah.
That's funny.
Vietnam, right?
So
this episode is that song.
Yes.
Where we just throw out all the. It's we didn't start the fire.
Colorado
we didn't start the
Worms.
podcast.
Long legs, RFK, brain worms coming.
Yeah. Petty Woman. We didn't start the podcast.
We didn't start the
The mics were on when we walked in the room. We didn't start the podcast.
All right, I'm going to reveal something that I
don't do it. It's his little winker.
It doesn't wink anymore. I'm older. So, no matter how hard I
it's got pink eye.
Just all that crusty stuff.
It's just my brainworm. But no, I had an idea that I didn't do. At the end of every year of the podcast, I came up with an idea of writing a "We Didn't Start the Fire" of the previous year of topics that we talked about on the podcast. I think that's kind of fun. I think it's fun.
And I think it's kind of unbearable, which is perfect for the podcast. Right?
That's great.
I think the idea of Chuck having brainworms of the penis is like the most logical thing we've said today.
I like the idea that he gets a tapeworm and the doctor tells him, but he's like, yeah, it's a brainworm. Yeah. And the doctor's like, no, it's a tapeworm. He's like, yeah, it's a brainworm.
I got a brainworm in my stomach.
Yeah, the brainworm.
Not supposed to be there.
The brainworm got done up here.
I love brainworms.
Started heading down.
Yeah.
That's why I got that.
Brainworms love bananas, and I eat a lot of bananas, so that's...
So I gotta put a piece of masking tape on my butthole tonight to try and catch my brainworm.
I'm going over to I'm going over to SICC to use their urinals.
I shouldn't have sat in that urinal.
John Zaluga is going to come over and help put it on. He knows what he's doing.
He's a doctor, sort of.
Yeah. So
Colorado.
This episode's going to be a stretch, which I appreciate. No, Colorado was a lot of fun. So this was my first time performing in Colorado. You've been going to visit your lady friend, right?
Yeah, I go to Colorado once a month.
Yeah, once a month. That's great. On your period.
We try to avoid
on your
periods when we're there.
Okay, when you get your moon cycle.
But it's not just about that. So even if it is, we're not going to complain.
It sounds like something you heard.
It sounds like something you said in the mirror.
I'm trying to accept it.
Yes. There's still, listen, I've seen the commercials. There's still plenty we can do. Horseback ride.
Frolicking. General frolicking.
Laughing with friends at a cafe.
Not too much frolicking.
Yeah. No, you got a little light frolic.
Ooh, dining al fresco.
Ooh, kayaking.
Yes, but be careful.
Yes. Being a proud woman.
Yeah.
Cut to her putting the masking tape on me.
Why do you have to come one day a month to your friend?
You frolic too much.
Cut to her saying like, I'm on my period, and then you go, oh, that's fine because I'm having a situation.
You're familiar with
also have a little
brainworms?
string hanging out of my body. It's so gross. It's so gross. But so you've been going once a month.
Yeah.
And this was my first time performing in Colorado. It was great. I'd only been previously for one night in Denver, driving through.
Oh yeah.
And so this was my first time to actually be there, and it was great. Set up a run of shows with a comic out there, Mark Masters. He produces shows out there. Okay. Super great guy. He was really fun to hang out with. He was funny. Very professional, which I appreciate, right? And he produces these shows like in and around Denver.
Yeah. 6
nights of shows in a row, which is wonderful. Yeah. Like super fun. It was Denver, Vail, Eagle, Castle Rock, Aurora, and Frisco. Those were the towns that I was performing in.
Yes.
I will say, like, people, the elevation is a lot higher in Denver. I felt it a little bit. Then I went to Vail, and Vail is way higher up.
Oh, believe me.
And I felt it real bad.
Yeah.
Oh, the elevation fucked with me.
Because I was in the Rockies at the same time.
Yeah.
And we were
avoiding each other actively. I saw you at one point, and I turned around and I walked the other way.
I was like, we started at 8,500 feet elevation, and then I hiked another 1,000 feet up with Natalie. And it is a thing.
No, yeah,
it's
real.
Weird. As a person, you're kind of like, when you don't experience it. I think before you experience it, you're kind of like this. Oh yeah, in your head, you're like you're just kind of brush it off.
Yeah.
But like what happens is, have you been to like a place with high elevation?
No.
For me, what happens is, I don't know if
you go low.
Death Valley. That's it for me.
Crevasses you love.
Yeah.
I don't know if your experience is the same as mine, but it's like you go to walk and you walk for like 10 minutes and you're like, I'm definitely breathing so much harder than I would normally breathe in this situation.
When I was in Vail, I was staying in a hotel in Vail Village, right, which is like the main area there. And it was a nice hotel. It was like an old, nice hotel. Like I had an actual physical key for my room.
Nice.
So it was kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
No AC, which is not
Less fun.
Why
It's
would
not
they
fun.
have it? Because it's Vail. And the whole time, Mark was like, oh, it's super, it's going to be a lot cooler up there. Because it was like 90 to 100 every day in Denver while I was there. And then we get to Vail, and I'm actively sweating. And he's like, oh, it's hot up here. And I'm like, yeah, it is. The planet's cooking. It's going to be hot in Vail for a while. Might as well install that AC, right? They had a box fan, and I put it in the window, and I felt like I was 11 again.
Oh, yeah.
Putting the box fan in the window?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But so I had to walk to the venue for the Vail show because it was on the other end of the Vail Village, right? And halfway there, I had to sit down on a park bench and like take a second, because like what you were saying, like I had been walking, and it was like, I'm walking for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I'm like, this sucks. I'm going to sit down for a second, because I'm genuinely like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was wild. Like it just,
I know.
You know what it was? For me, it was a nightmare because it made me become the fat guy I fear I am. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Oh no, a set of stairs. Like that's how I felt, because I had to go upstairs to my hotel room.
Right.
Every time I went up the stairs, I'd be like, oh my God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was a lot.
I'll tell you this trip, it's so funny because we had a little bit of some similar situations. Natalie, my girlfriend, wanted me to go on this hike with her.
And I went on a hike with Natalie too on this trip. We did have a lot of similar things happen.
Yes. And so
I was on my period. Nothing else happened.
she took me to Estes Park. That's where we basically had like a 6-month anniversary weekend from the cruise.
Oh my God. I went to Estes Park too. I dropped off a dead bear cub.
But she's like, oh, we're going to go on this hike tomorrow. It's fine, whatever. And I went on the hike, and it was fucking rough.
Yeah.
Like I said, 8,500 feet to 9,500 feet. And Natalie, not to blow up her spot, whatever, she does not have any sort of sympathy for the elevation thing.
Yeah.
Even in this hiking scenario, because we hiked for maybe 3 hours, 45 minutes. And like, we're hiking up. And she's kind of like, I'm not even kidding. I talked to her about this. She's kind of like, no, the elevation's not really a thing. It's nothing. You get used to it immediately, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's not true. I'm like, because we were doing a tour of the Stanley Hotel, which is where Stephen King wrote The Shining.
Yeah.
And in those hotel tours where you're like walking gingerly to room, they're like, if anyone feels lightheaded, if you feel like you're going to throw up, if you feel like you're going to pass out, please tell us.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't be embarrassed, because people do pass out and we do have to call the ambulance legally. So please tell us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if they say that at 8,500 feet when you're barely walking around, now we're doing this insane hike on like, we're going like up like rocks and like all that stuff. I'm like, it's real. It's a real thing. And she's like a couple weeks ago, she goes, yeah, I camped in the Great Sand Dunes, which is a national park there. And she hiked like 11 miles in sand. And I'm like, do you realize how like, you're like training. You're like training all the time. And you're like used to it, and you live here.
Yeah.
And she's like, all right, let's go. And I'm like, I'm going to kill myself. But she really had no sympathy for that.
Of course. If a Chuck threatens suicide in the woods and no one's around to hear it, is it a customer service problem? But I'm going to kill myself. Myself.
Look at her.
Okay.
Nobody?
But it really is a funny situation to be in with someone like that.
Oh, yeah.
She definitely, she's like, and she's casually telling me these stories on this hike where she's like, yeah, I told a bunch of people from my work they wanted to go on a hike, so I told them one, and they were like all complaining afterwards. And I'm like, yeah, it took me like 6 months to get my time down to under an hour for that hike. And I'm like, you're fucking training. You're training all the time. You
I
have
like
to.
Natalie.
It's crazy.
She's great.
Well, I will say, I mean, thinking about it in the big picture wise, if you have a partner who pushes you into something, it might as well be physical activity.
Sure,
in terms of like actual like positives. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
Define physical activity.
Well, hey, we're just putting our stamp of approval on any physical activity that partners push each other into. No, but it's like if she's going to be like, no, come on, we can do it. You can hike. That's
of course.
That's not the worst thing in the world. But it was, dude, I was feeling it.
Of course, yeah. No, I mean, everybody was just like, how you feeling with the elevation? Like, people are asking me, and they drink a lot of water, eat a banana, things like that, right? Mm-hmm. And it was a lot, like, they sell little cans of oxygen.
Yeah.
I didn't get one. Did you get one?
I bought 2.
Was it cool?
2 little ones. I don't know. I felt like it was like anecdotal at some point. I did feel better when I used it, but it was more just to do it. I bought them because I'm like, well, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So let me buy it. And of course, like the day that I bought the can, that night I was in Eagle. Really, really fun show at a speakeasy. Mm-hmm. Super fun. I think that might have been like my favorite show of the week. I'm sorry if you're a viewer listener just joining us from the Denver trip, but and you're not from Eagle. It was fantastic, and I had that can like in my back pocket. Because I wanted to pull it out on stage.
Yeah.
And I just did some fun goofs with that. You would have loved them because I did like a
Stone Cold.
No, I did like incorporate this into the bedroom.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's fun.
Right before you head down there, just be like, "Oh, you have nothing to worry about." Right? That's fun.
That is fun.
A bit of a scoob.
Yeah,
a scuba situation.
Yeah, that's fun.
But no, it was they sold the air. It fucked with me. The elevation really did. There were a couple of times where I was like, I just want to sit for a second and like be in my head for a minute, right? I will say, while I was in Vail, there's a restaurant in Vail Village. This is for Charles. There's a restaurant there that Mark has a deal with. Whenever new headliners come through, they can eat there for lunch. It's a free thing. They don't have a Michelin star. They have one down from that. I don't know what that is.
Michigan Moon. Michigan
Moon. Michigan Moon?
Michigan Moon. Oh. You know what? I misspoke, and I'm sticking with it.
That's fine.
Michigan Moon.
I saw that. I saw the sticker.
TM.
Yeah, Michigan Moon.
Yeah.
They have a Michigan Moon. I had one of the best cheeseburgers I've ever had in my life at this restaurant.
I love hearing that.
I'm going to describe it. You ready?
Please do.
Yes.
Keep your pants on and your worms in.
You know that meme of Bugs Bunny? No.
So this burger, it was like the special of the day. Like it's lunchtime. They had sandwiches. They had other things, steak frites and all that stuff. But this is a restaurant where it's like, no substitutions. This is a straight deal. I think I saw all of the cast of The Bear in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But the burger was a filet mignon burger.
Ooh.
Right? With like really salty caramelized onions, and they were perfect. And then a Gruyere fondue on top of that.
Ooh, baby.
On this bun. I didn't do ketchup. I didn't do anything else because it was just like, no, it's this.
Yeah.
And I ate it and I was like, this was really good. I had a really great meal. I don't know, this was like the best burger in the world. And then I left. And since then, every single day, I have thought about that cheeseburger. It really did stick with me. So it is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really is great. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the trip. It was really nice to go to Colorado. The shows were...
You didn't have to do any weird wall squats and showers or anything like your cruise days?
No, nothing like the cruise days. I did have a shower thing happen.
Uh-oh.
Please do.
This is fun. So I was staying... I was in a hotel in Vail for 2 days, but for the rest of the time I was staying in a condo. That is... it's an Airbnb condo, but it's a friend of Mark's who's the tour manager for the Chainsmokers.
Oh yeah,
Perfect.
you said that.
Yeah, I got to the house, and when I walked in, I'm like, there's a lot of Chainsmokers stuff in this house, right?
It's just a super fan.
Yeah, I'm like, what is going on? And then I saw one wall. I took a picture and I sent it to you guys because it had like their platinum albums.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And there's a little plaque thing with a piece of rock in it, and it's from Red Rocks.
Yes.
And it's from when the Chainsmokers did their shows.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is
really
a
likes the
different
band.
thing. So I reached out to Mark. I texted him. I'm like, is your guy like in the Chainsmokers or something? He's like, no, he's the tour manager. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So really nice condo, really enjoyable. The guy was super nice. We chatted via the refrigerator dry erase board. It was very fun.
Yeah, that's fun.
And so his bathroom, a little dated, It needs a little update in the bathroom, right? It was the kind of shower that has 3 knobs.
Ooh, yeah.
Right?
Always tricky.
It's the middle one goes from bathtub to shower head.
Yes.
The one on the right is cold, and the one on the left is hot, right?
Yes.
And I did that, and they were these big, like, clear plastic knobs.
Yes.
And on, like, day 3, I think it was right when we got back from Vail, I took a shower before the show we were doing. Like, it was, I took a shower that morning when we left, and then when we got to the condo, I took another shower. It was, like, so hot, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to go to the show. I finish showering. I turn off the hot. First I do. It goes down to the tub.
Yeah.
Then I turn off the cold, and the hot. I turn it, and I hear a distinct snap.
Uh-oh.
And it does turn off.
Good.
But now the knob is just a spinning.
Yep.
It's just a spinning.
Oh man.
So I was like, oh no. And I tried to turn it on. It wouldn't turn on.
Yep.
And I'm like, ah, crap. So I get dressed and everything, and then I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, I got to fix this shower. I have to fix this shower. I take the thing off. I hunt around the house. I find a screwdriver. I'm working on this thing. And I'm like, this sucks, right? Because, and this is why I wanted to bring this up, because I feel like you guys can relate with this. I think we're all this type.
Yes.
For sure. I know what you're going to say.
I will polite you to the fucking grave.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep. You're like, oh my God, I got to make this the same thing it was before I broke it without telling anybody.
Yeah, or improve it even more.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's it. Leave no trace.
Redo in the shower.
I'm a guest.
Yeah.
Even though this is like an Airbnb situation, I'm a guest.
Yep.
I will not leave one crumb.
Yes.
I cleaned up, like, when I went to the hotel for 2 nights, I was like, oh, the guy's coming back for those 2 nights. And then he's leaving for Europe for the chain smokers. I cleaned, like, everything up. Like, I had not been there, and then came back 2 nights later, and then did it again when I left, right? Like, I'm like, no. I am a polite little boy.
Yep.
And I think the phrase, I will polite you to the fucking grave, I said that on stage at one of the shows. It just came out, and I love it. It might be the title of my memoir.
Yeah.
I will polite you to the fucking grave.
Yeah.
So I was in a real, like, oh no, this is the worst. The only way this could be worse is if I somehow broke the toilet.
Yeah.
Because then it feeds into me being a fat boy, and then it's all over for me.
Yeah.
At that point, I go full Chuck right on the dry erase. I'm gonna kill myself, and then follow through.
Yeah.
And the way I do it is I take the oxygen can I bought, put it in my butt.
Yeah.
And then
Light it on fire.
No, and then give my worms all the oxygen. Okay. They become super oxygenated.
Yeah, right.
That's how you get Ninja Turtles.
That's right.
So, it's all in the books.
You
gotta read
I only
them.
saw the cartoon.
That's what Laird would be disappointed if I didn't say that. So I texted Mark, and I'm like, so the hot water handle's broken. I don't know if this is a regularly occurring thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe this guy has a fix for it.
Right.
Or if I'm going to take cold showers for the rest of the time. Because that's what I was thinking too. Like, if this doesn't get fixed, I only have the cold water. This sucks.
Yep.
So he came over with tools before the show. He came to pick me up to go to the show. He had tools. And Mark's a great guy. He's sitting there. He's like, yeah, something happened like a few months ago with this thing. He's doing it, and I didn't have the heart. I'm in the bathroom with him, and I don't have the heart to tell him, like, I already did all that.
Yeah.
I already did all those things.
I know.
And so he's like, yeah, it's broken, right? And so I was like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. Let's take the cold water handle off, and just not leave it screwed in, because then I can take that and switch it back and forth, right? And I can still take showers. And then, we'll find a replacement handle.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then the next day he went to like Home Depot, got one, gave it to me at that show, and then I fixed it, right? So on this trip, I like did some home repair in a home that's not mine. But that panic of like, oh, I don't want to be the guy.
Yeah.
Because then forever, I'm the guy that broke that shower handle for you. Yeah. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare. I wanted to point this out too. Denver, the show I did in Denver proper, downtown Denver.
Fun, right? Isn't downtown Denver cool?
Yeah, super cool. I kind of walked around. I saw that cool like downtown street with all the lights and stuff. and then I saw where the Denver Comedy Works is. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then I was doing this show at a like music venue right next to the High Times dispensary, which was very funny. Yeah. And then I had an epiphany because I use a vape to sleep. I take that before I go to bed, but I don't travel with it because I'm never sure how that's going to play. And I was ready for a week of like having trouble falling asleep.
Yeah.
And then I'm standing there and I'm like, well, the High Times dispensary's right there. I'll just get a disposable. It's the first time I got a disposable and it was awesome.
Great.
It's like a good disposable. It was like $40 and I flew home with it.
Oh.
Because I don't feel bad like going, oh yeah, and then throwing it away. You know what I mean? So I highly recommend. That was cool. I want to do a show at the High Times.
Whenever I fly, I take gummies, and I don't even think about it
Yeah,
anymore.
the gummies are a different thing. You know what I mean?
I think it's fine. I mean, they've actually gone through my bag and picked up my plastic Ziploc bag of gummies and looked under it.
Yeah, but that's because of the other stuff that you have in your bag.
That's how
you know
do
what
it.
I mean?
You know, in rated R
tapeworm food.
Yep.
And you know, in rated R movies, like some people like Matt Stone and Trey Parker say, well, you put in way worse stuff, so you keep the stuff that you want.
Yeah.
It's
That's
exactly
how
the
you
same
pack.
with my luggage.
Yeah.
Human head.
So no, it was really fun. And then the show in Denver proper, it was very interesting. There was a woman there who, and if you're listening, I'm sorry, I'm going to talk about this. She was super nice, but during the show, I think she had maybe imbibed a little too much.
Yep.
And
alcohol and altitude stuff.
Yeah,
That's true.
It is true. Yeah. And Al Borland.
Ah, yes.
If
I
you
don't
add
think
that,
so, Ray.
alcohol, altitude, and Al Borland.
Yeah. Did you hear my I don't think so, Ray?
I did, yeah. I was
Ray-
still feeling shame from my initial statement.
He looked at me.
I did.
Al Borland looked at you?
Disappointing. Yeah.
Over the fence?
Yeah.
So
No, that's Wilson.
I know. Oh, you didn't know?
No.
Same guy.
No.
It's not.
No.
Wow, you said no 3 different ways there. That was fun.
That was my acting exercise.
Good job.
This episode is kind of altitude sickness.
Yes.
We're bouncing around,
That's
lightheaded.
probably a
Yeah.
great title.
Yeah, you
for it.
do feel like
I feel
you're
sick.
not- oh yeah, I'm sorry.
And I'm
At us.
so much taller than Chuck. So
You're feeling it even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's up there.
That's tough. He knew about the second plane hitting the towers like 5 minutes before you did, Chuck.
Yes.
Because he's so high up. Why do I always go back to 9/11?
I heard it.
9/11 and Jean Bonnet.
Jared Fogle.
No, that's not mine.
Jared-
The Jared Fogel's not mine. That's his.
I think Jared Fogel's more you than me.
I think you're more Jared Fogel.
I'm not going to make a joke because I have a mean one to make.
Oh. Well, we'll talk after the show. We'll talk after the show.
And that's
After the
and
show.
that's the end of Funbearable.
So, this woman was very chatty. She
Yes.
was, not heckling or anything, but like very much like, this is a conversation, and we're going to have a conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like at one point, I think during like my hamster bit, she's like getting really firm about hamsters, and I'm like, we're not.
Yeah.
Let's not do this. you
Yeah,
know?
of course.
Anyway, after the show, she comes up again. She was a very nice lady.
Yep.
She comes up, slaps $200 in my hand as a tip, and I'm like, all right, you
Yep.
just bought the ability to talk throughout the show. I don't give a shit. That was nice. And that show was the first
You
show.
just bought a new shower handle for my chain smoker friend.
Your friend's a chain smoker?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
In the shower?
Yeah.
That's gross. No, but I was like, that was the first show of the week. And I was just like, I love Denver. This is going to be great. And if we're going to Vail, where even the ticket for the show is $50, what are the tips going to be in Vail?
Yeah, right.
I felt like it was genuinely like, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's been, as a comic, it happens occasionally. Someone will just tip you. They'll just put money in your hand after a show.
Yeah.
And a few times it has been like $100 bill.
Yeah.
That's very nice. I had an Olympic gold medalist give me $100 after a show.
Wow.
It was really fun.
Simone
that.
Biles, thank you.
It was not Simone.
Oh.
It was not Simone. It was the really cool Turkish shooter.
Ooh, silver medal, but yes.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was very nice. But this was like, oh, there's $200 here. Thank you. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
So you went out and bought 4 more disposable vapes.
I was just going to say, they went right to disposable vapes.
Hello, High Times.
Yes.
I'd like to make an order. And then after that, that was a lot of fun. I just wanted to get to a couple other things here.
Yeah. Can I butt in with one quick thing?
Yeah, please.
Well, you talked about a cheeseburger that you had that was one of the best cheeseburgers you ever had, or possibly the best.
Yeah, yeah.
Me and Brad had a similar experience this weekend.
Was it a kiss?
Well, here's the
Two
thing.
thumbs up.
We're in this really funny situation, and I don't know if you have anything like this. So there's a burger place that started in Warren, Rhode Island. That's where Brad and I live.
We've been over this before. Wendy's is a chain, and that's not the first one.
Well, it's called Chomp.
Yeah.
And Chomp they sponsored us for one of our live shows.
Right, yeah.
They're great, and their burgers are like insane. Like I went to high school with my friend Nikki Holden. She's awesome, and she's like meticulous about quality of food, and she was the chef there for a long time, and now she's kind of even moved up to operations manager, I believe.
Yeah.
And they expanded to a Providence location, and they expanded to a huge, way bigger, way nicer Warren location.
Oh, that Providence one, by the way, pisses me off because I had to cancel my plans for a business that I was starting right in the same area.
Was it titled something?
Well, yeah, because Chomp moved in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this blows everything because it was on the same street. I was going to open a male strip club.
Yeah.
It was called Chump.
And
I was going to open a milkshake shop and called Suck.
I was gonna open a male strip club called Chunk.
They're all there.
Which one do we have?
Wait, which one's the cheeseburger? I don't know.
Gotta be Chunk. Gotta be Chunk.
Gotta be Chunk. And then there's a guy there. He's like, my name's Cheeseburger.
So
You're looking for hamburger.
Yeah.
So I went there with my family for to
To a
celebrate
strip club?
to celebrate my birthday to Chomp in Warren.
Yeah.
And I know their stuff is great. I know that it's awesome. And we went there. There was a new burger on the menu that was a chorizo patty, and it with shoestring fries on it. Looked
And
amazing.
as a Portuguese man,
Yes.
you were like, I got to have the chorizo.
I was thinking about that, but then I looked at their menu with Brad, and Brad's like, "Did you see the new burger on their menu?" And it was a smash burger. You know what that is, right?
Yes.
Oh, some people don't. And basically, it was a smash burger with a cheddar brisket hash on the burger with a Korean barbecue sauce on it.
Oh my goodness.
And it
Oh
was...
my goodness.
Brad's like, "I'm getting it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got it without the sauce. I was like, "I'm getting it as
And
is."
the patties.
Yeah.
And the cheese.
Yeah. And they brought it out.
And the bun.
And that burger might be the best burger I ever had in my life.
Yeah, I want this.
It was so incredible.
And you brought one? Are you going to pull it out from under the table right now?
And dude, have you...
Oh, the tapeworm
Have
made
you
it.
guys eaten at Chomp, like your family?
No.
I think you'd really enjoy it. All three
Yeah.
of you would really enjoy it. Their wings are... We had their wings.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh, we would bring Finn, but we wouldn't allow him to eat.
Yeah.
Their fries are great.
He has
Everything
to
there is
earn
great.
that right.
Yeah.
Everything there is great, but it's one of those things where you're like, it's a gourmet, super high quality, super, super good burger, but it's like, how often do you want to be eating cheeseburgers
Yeah,
like that?
of course.
So
No,
like,
that's a special night.
It's the telltale heart of my home neighborhood where I'm just like, I can hear the burgers sizzling at night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could go
and
there
then when
right
you go
now.
there, you can hear your heart.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it was seriously,
My heart's not beating, it's squidging.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. It could be the best burger I ever had.
I want to try it because I love Korean barbecue like so much.
It was such a wonderful
Yeah.
mix of sweet and spicy.
I
So
got,
am I.
I got it sans spicy.
Yeah.
Big surprise. But it was top 3 burgers. One of the also, Chomp is also in that list. Top 3 burger experiences.
It was
that I was like, oh, this is amazing.
It was
Yeah.
it's almost like scary when people who care that much about quality take over something like that, because you're like, I want to just go every day.
Yeah,
I just want to go all the time.
I give Chomp 2 Michigan Moons.
Wow.
It was great though. You guys should really try it out. It's really
No,
good.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah,
It's
and
amazing.
next, and if you go to Vale, Vale Village,
I will. I totally will.
I'm gonna let you know that restaurant because it's amazing.
Me and Natalie constantly write down stuff in Colorado to try when I go out there. So I'll definitely take that for sure. We went to a great burger place too, and it's funny. I got that Chicago dog.
Yeah.
That I'm sure you saw a picture
Oh,
of
yeah.
on my Instagram. And we got that the last night on like a whim, and it was hilarious because we were in Estes Park, which is at the base of the Rocky Mountains, and
That's where they found that bear cub recently.
I think it's called Penelope's World Famous Burgers. And I went in, I was like, I just want something like kind of quick that I can just kind of eat on the go. And they had hot dogs and they had a Chicago dog. And they had options for footlongs, but they didn't have a Chicago dog under the footlongs. And I was like, and I'm thinking like hot dog, like, like a regular thickness, whatever. And I was like, guy was like,
the usual girth.
What's the girth? I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
And I go to them. I go, can you get the Chicago dog as a foot long? They're like, oh yeah. This thing was so much bigger than any human being could possibly eat. I'm like, why didn't they just discourage me and say, get the regular fucking dog?
Like, I think if I was eating like just hot dog for a meal, like a Brad, I could put down reasonably. I could put down 4 dogs, for sure. But a Chicago dog, even in the regular size, I'm like 2.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
So that's the thing, and I didn't know, but it was. Have you been to Spike's Hot Dogs in Rhode Island?
Yeah, forever ago. Yeah.
So they're really, really thick. They're way thicker than like a
much
regular
girthier.
Much girth. And that's what these were.
That's what it says outside. Spikes, very much girth.
Yeah.
So the whole thing was so fucking. I'm like, I probably ate 60% of it, and that was like me being pressured because they were right there, and I just ordered it.
Yeah. And the tapeworm was doing most of the work. Yeah. You looked like Alien. You would open your mouth and the tapeworm would come out and he eats the hot
It was.
My tapeworm comes out and it's like, spices, and it goes back.
It's the same thing as you with the little face.
It's got little glasses on it.
On its forehead.
Yeah.
It was up there though.
That's
it was
wonderful.
Amazing. Yeah. Penelope's world famous hamburgers at Estes Park, Colorado.
Yeah, it was really fun. My only bummer on the trip is like I didn't have a car, I didn't have a vehicle, so I was with Mark the whole time. Mark Masters, comic producer of the shows.
Yeah,
again, super great guy, but like he's busy producing the shows.
Right,
I'm at this condo that's kind of out of the way, and I would like look up Uber stuff, and I'm like everything's $50 away.
I know it's tough,
and it bummed me out. So I didn't really get to see much of Denver, right?
You just had that big like ski slalom competition that you won and saved the resort.
I did save the resort. Yeah, that was the whole thing. But you know what's crazy though? I thought I was like helping the underdogs, and I found out later that was the rich kids.
You were the Russians. It was the Russians.
It was insane. Yeah, I thought they were really nice.
Yeah.
They were rich, Russian.
Yeah, that's where I got the bear cub that was later found dead.
It was found dead in Estes Park.
Yeah.
It looks like it had been groped.
Looks like it was poisoned. It looked like it was poisoned.
Yes. It had a disposable vape pen in one hand.
Yeah. Oh my God. I think Putin tried to have me killed. Sorry. No, just jokes. Goofs. Mr. Putin, sir.
Goof.
Really enjoyed it. I got to see a lot of these different towns. Like Eagle, I thought was fun. It's like I had barbecue there that was delicious. I know now we're just talking about food. It seems dumb. I will throw it out there.
That's okay. I like that.
Yeah, Moe's Barbecue was great. It's a chain, and there's one in Bangor, Maine.
Wow.
And when we drove up to the place, Mark was like, they have great barbecue. This is where the chain started. This is the restaurant. Like all the GMs of the other chains, they have to come and work at this one for a while.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool.
I do like that, yeah.
And my brain, like it was like a record scratch in my brain when we pulled in because I saw the sign and the logo, and I'm like, that is from Maine.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know. And I thought this one place in Maine popped up, and it was like, oh, Moe's Barbecue. That's weird. It sounds like, I'm like, Moe's is the Italian subs from southern Maine, you fucking idiots. No, it's this delicious barbecue. I had the smoked turkey. Holy shit, was it good.
I never would go for smoked turkey at barbecue. That sounds great.
I was at the barbecue place. I'm looking, and I'm like, pulled pork. I've had plenty of that. Brisket, plenty of that. Chicken, sure, I know that. But I was like, this turkey, I'm like, this will tell me if this place is like good, right?
Oh, that's cool.
And I got it Bama style, which is with both barbecue sauces, like the red and the white, and then it had like pickled stuff, and I'm like,
that's a happy day.
Oh, it was.
You had to sit across from your cousin, and she was wearing a low cut top, and you're like, oh, Bama style.
It was it was definitely delicious. It was, I would say, in Funbearable terms, it was JW.
Okay,
Jizzworthy.
Right.
Yeah.
How many Michigan Moons would you give it?
3.
Wow.
Wait, what's the scale? How many can you get?
You know, we're in the process of TMing, so
all right.
You know, really,
I would give it a Lunar, Louisiana.
Woo!
I like that.
It's adjacent to Bama.
Yeah.
I would give it 2 big skateboards, Bama or Jera.
Oh.
Anyway, no, it was fantastic. Castle Rock was a great show.
Yeah.
Got like a very nice attempted standing ovation, and I appreciate that after the show.
fun.
Yeah. It was in a theater, which was really cool. It was like this black box theater.
It's a room full of paraplegics.
Why would you go there?
They tried to give me a standing ovation. Bless their hearts.
A few of them fell out of their chairs. It was a whole thing.
Oh, guys, thank you, guys.
Please
stay.
I can see your faces. I appreciate it.
Just sit. Just sit. Doing crowd work was hard because you have to wait for them to type it in. So shitty. Why did you make us go down this road?
I said paraplegics. I didn't say quadriplegic.
I know.
You didn't say quadriplegic.
Can I be honest with you, Brad? I don't see disabilities. Quads and paras are all the same to me.
Quads and paras.
Sounds problematic.
So dumb.
It really is.
So anyway,
So you got a standing ovation.
I will say,
You healed some people.
when it comes, like, you know the Paralympics?
Yes.
They never do hurdles, I'll say that. I hate this.
It's all Brad. He brings this kind of stuff to us.
They call it speed bumps.
They might do hurdles.
They do hurdles with people that are not in wheelchairs.
Right.
My idea is them in wheelchairs all lined up for the hurdles.
Yes.
And they're just like, this is never going to work.
Yeah.
Man, you ever see the wheelchair basketball
It's
documentary?
got so dangerous. Yeah, murder ball.
Oh, that was fun.
It's not
Yeah,
That was
absolutely.
a cool doc.
Yep.
Man, sometimes I wonder about like some of those little documentaries that for some reason broke through for a very short amount of time and got to us.
Yeah.
There's probably a million that we didn't see.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, which I bet are really good.
They have a wheelchair volleyball documentary that's fucking hot. It is hot. Wow.
I was watching I watched the trailer for the new Joker with Harley Quinn. I'm very excited for it.
Sure.
Todd Phillips also the director of that also did the first Joker and he did the Hangover series.
Yeah.
But previous to those movies, he started with a documentary about G.G. Allen and his band.
Oh, wow.
Called G.G. Allen and the Murder Junkies Hated. And I'm like, I really want to watch that. And it's so funny to see that guy move forward.
Yeah. That's fun.
The guy who directed Horrible Bosses, which I really appreciate that movie.
Sure.
I really, really appreciate that. That guy is the director of King of Kong.
Oh, fun.
Seth Gordon.
Yeah.
I actually wrote him a letter when I first did my documentary, VBW Attack, and he wrote me back like a super encouraging letter about it. It was really, really cool.
And then he saw VBW Attack and he's like, never mind.
It's just fun.
Retract.
Yes.
I think it's cool when people start out with those like punk.
Yeah,
it's funny,
yeah.
This kind of goes back to what we were saying. It's cool when they start out with these smaller punk rock ideas that are kind of like, we're getting it all together. You could tell there wasn't a big budget or a lot of production. And it hits, and they get to go on. You know, it's really cool. I love that kind of stuff.
No, I absolutely agree. Yeah. Most currently, I told you guys about Snack Shack.
Yeah.
The comedy movie that is like set in the 90s, and it's 2 like high school kids.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. And I recommended it to my wife, Kalina, as well. And she just watched it, and she's like, "That was great. It was fantastic.
I
it
wanna
feels
watch. It's funny
like a movie we saw when we were, in the 90s."
It's funny because I saw the trailer and I was like, like it doesn't look great to me. But then you told me it was good, and I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. It's just interesting.
It has there's something in it that just really does harken back. Granted, it is couched in that period of time.
Sure.
But something about it does feel like, oh, this is back when, like, again, just, smaller budget.
Yeah.
Comedy, coming of age comedy that is, it's got all the stuff and it works. It's fun.
Yeah.
Man, don't you feel like if you had like a lot of money for some reason, don't you feel like if you were working in film or something?
Well, once that life insurance policy pays out from Brad, I'm set.
But wouldn't you like be like, let's just fucking make movies just that? Like, let's just do movies that are like, these are really good concepts. We're going to put enough money in that we can do it well, and we're not going to overinflate that and just make good stuff.
Yeah, well, but the system is what it is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Maybe
it doesn't allow for it.
Maybe Blumhouse was kind of going for that.
Sure, we've talked about this though. The horror films are the last place that you can do it because there are production companies willing to give you a small to medium budget to make that movie because they know that an audience will show up. The other production companies are in that model where it's like it's what Vince Vaughn was just talking about in that interview where he's just like, yeah, the model now is like we do the IPs and stuff like that because the executives are in a place where they just don't want to get fired. And they want to be able to put a movie out and go, well, we put this one out because XYZ.
I know.
Because it has this IP and this person attached, and it's a sequel to this, or it's a prequel to this, or it's a reboot of this, and it already exists. And like he said in the thing, and like that's how we get to Battleship is a movie.
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
And so we can't do those comedies anymore. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And it's what like Seinfeld was talking about. Like, well, we don't see these comedies, but he took it in the other direction. It was like because audiences are too sensitive. It's like, no. Also, Deadpool just proved you wrong. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, Castle Rock was fun. Attempted standing ovation. That's where all of this started.
Yeah.
It was very fun because like half of the audience stood up and I'm walking away and Mark's like standing ovation and I turned back. He said it, and I'm like, oh, that's lovely. And I turn around, and in my head, for that split second, I'm thinking, oh, they're all standing up. That's really nice.
Yeah.
And then I look over, and it's like right down the middle, half.
Wow.
Is doing it. And I just laughed so hard. And I was like, I want to thank you so much, and thank you this side as well. You know, like that kind of thing. But that was really great. Doing an hour in all these towns for 6 days was like, I mean, that's just what I want to do.
Exactly.
So it was delightful, and to be so well received was fun. Like I don't want to be like a cocky jerk and just be like I fucking crushed, I killed it. But I was very well received, and the audiences were really kind, and it was very, very fun to do.
That's great, man. I love that. I love hearing that, and I love when you first told me. I was like, I'm so excited that he's just going to go out to like a random place that's super far away with a ton of people who don't have any experience with him.
Yeah.
And he's going to get to headline in front of all these new crowds. I thought it was awesome.
I mean, that's all I want to do is just be in new places because it just fills me with energy. I did a show in Aurora, and the whole time, and I still haven't looked it up, I wasn't sure if it was that Aurora.
Yeah, I think it is that Aurora.
I think it is that Aurora.
Yeah.
And so
Borealis.
I didn't look it up. And Greg Louganis. This is where we are. We're in our own little weird improv game. We're zapping and zopping. So I was in Aurora. You'll appreciate this. I think this is fun. It harkens back to early Funbearable. We were in the venue, and it was a brewery, right? Because comedy shows, not enough clubs exist, but they're all comedy, all breweries.
Yep.
In the like square, in the on the grass in the field, like little courtyard thing that was there, they were playing Indiana Jones. On a big screen, and it was awesome. People are out on the lawn and shit like that.
I love it,
and it was so fun because I went up and I just started talking about that. I'm like, this is great. Like people talked about Aurora. Everybody was like, yeah, Aurora's a little, right? Like, it's a little bit rough. It's a little rough in Aurora. Aurora, yikes. Like, a lot of that. I'm like, I don't know anything about Aurora. Somebody drove me in here.
Yeah.
But this courtyard seems lovely. This feels like a lobby. This is nice. You got Indiana Jones, and I like to think that there are people in Aurora that don't know that Indiana Jones is playing. And they just think, they're like, I hear a lot of German yelling and gunfire, right? And like just goofing with that stuff.
Yeah.
I did so much that show. Ooh, that show might take Eagle. It was really, really fun.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm just having fun with it. We did a lot of crowd work and chatting with the audience and stuff like that. And like the through line for most of the show was like Aurora. Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, where are you from? And they're like, oh, not Aurora. You know what I mean? And it was very funny.
Yeah.
So I'm doing an hour. At about 50 minutes in, finally I'm like, what about you? You know, blah, blah, blah. What do you do? And this woman in the front row, after 50 minutes of the entire crowd being like, Aurora, right?
Yeah.
She's like, I am the police chief for Aurora.
Oh, that's funny.
The Aurora police chief was there. It was so fun.
That's so funny.
It was like a magic trick where the reveal happens 50 minutes in.
Exactly.
It was great. And I'm like, I think awesome. I was like, why are you here? I feel like you should be pretty busy.
Yeah.
Right? Like stuff like that. And it was really, really fun. That was a magical little show. I really appreciated that. I just like the whole time was great. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
The last show in Frisco, to bring it back to Chuck's love of foods, they do barbecue at this place, right? It's like a brewery barbecue place. They have a music venue in there. Really fun. Great spot. I liked that show a lot. Frisco is more into the mountains as well.
Okay.
I had pork belly, like barbecue pork belly. It was phenomenal. Oh my God, it was so good.
Barbecue pork belly.
There's so much barbecue out there, and it's awesome. You know. Anyway, it was really good. I know you're like upset now. I love it.
I love it.
But yeah, the whole trip was super fun. It made up for the flying there and back, because those weren't bad flights, but cartoon flights. The flight out, I was sitting on the aisle seat. The woman on the window seat was straight out of like a, I don't know, like John Hughes level like comedy moment.
Yeah.
Like this woman would have been in Trains, Planes, and Automobiles.
Okay. Yeah,
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah,
Is it planes or trains?
Planes. Planes first.
Planes first?
Planes first.
I think it should be trains.
I think it should be trains first.
I think we've had this exact same discussion.
we have.
Okay, I'm very sorry.
It's all right. I'm losing my mind right now. The brain worms are starving.
Okay. Just generally like your own physical feeling, not what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
I'm dizzy right now.
Oh,
Are you?
okay.
Yeah, I sure am.
Are you too hot?
Nope.
Too cold? Just right?
You need a blanket?
I'm just right, and that's the problem. I've never been comfortable before.
I'm as just right as I can get.
I'm alt right.
Yes.
So you Portuguese fuck.
Someone called me the S word. I tell you that?
S word?
For people who are Hispanic.
Oh.
Because I'm Portuguese.
Who did that?
The person I met the first night I met them. Isn't that weird?
That is weird. Also because like
it's inaccurate.
I don't know if it's accurate. What am I?
No, you're white, my guy. You are white.
I don't know.
You're white.
I told you what happened recently, and I'm not even joking when I say this.
What?
I was called a racial slur, like legit, like hatefully, because they mistook my identity. They said the N-word.
What?
I'm not kidding. It's true, right?
I mean,
I'm trying to say this funny little anecdote about this lady on the plane, and now we're at you got called the N-word?
I don't know.
I did.
I don't know why Chuck is looking to me for confirmation.
You called him it.
As though I were the one who called it.
Yeah. No, I told you right afterwards and how lost I was at how to respond.
Yes.
They called me it.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
In person or over the phone?
It was at night, and I was walking, and a car pulled up next to me, like, and kind of slowed down and yelled that at me and drove away. And like,
okay,
I don't know if it's.
I don't think that was like.
I don't know if it's mistaken identity.
No, I think that feels more like
this guy just wanted to say that word to someone.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like it's safe to yell it at a white guy.
I mean, honestly,
the other one.
If you have to yell it at someone from your car, right? Yeah. Like if you've been tasked with that,
yeah,
from your own insane brain or the Lord,
hard to tell the difference sometimes.
Yeah, famously. Truly, there's been plenty of genuinely insane people that are like, God is talking to me and telling me to do these things.
Yeah, that's true.
Son of Sam.
Yeah,
that's one.
John Smith.
We got Son of Sam.
John Smith. No. Who's the guy?
No, he was a grifter.
Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith was a grifter. Yeah. John Smith, different guy. Yeah. Agent Smith. He thought he was
John Smith Pocahontas.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably. But that's more about divine providence than anything else. You sure? Anyway, oh my God, we've tangented so much. I'm gone.
My favorite thing is when we think of like conversation as like joke and word volleyball, and we're like, let's go do it, and we're just like, ugh.
And what if? And then we're like, hey, volleyball's fun. What if there were 17 volleyballs on this beach right now, and we all had to just constant, oh God, yeah, that's a good one. Hit it, yeah. Spike it with the N-word. There we go. And then over here,
Jared Fogle.
Oh, somebody cut that. Somebody clip that right there. Make that a GIF. Chuck going, Jared Fogle. Like, it looks like you're stroking a real long, 12-foot long.
Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm just hurt because both of you guys now have stories that involve you.
Involve somebody calling us the N-word. Yeah. Mine was a sweet treat. Yours was a drive-by.
I just don't get it.
Hey, Brad, let me ask you a quick question.
Yes.
What would you do to try and get someone to do it? Explain in detail what that would be.
I got a list.
Oh, no. And then it's just a long beep. It's just a long beep on the podcast. Just extreme censor.
And him happily reading a
Yeah, do it.
He's acting like he puts on a hat.
Yeah, oh, no. Ooh, what hat?
It's a Cat in the Hat.
It's a cowboy hat for some reason. Really strange choice.
Oh, that is weird. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry you were a victim of hate speech.
I was like, is this stolen valor? I don't know what to
I like
think
the idea of them. You hear like as they drive away, and you go, "Thank you, thank you."
There is something about like, am I okay being offended by that? Or am I taking...
I think it's just perplexing. Yeah. I think it's just confusing, like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I would need more context to find out if I'm upset.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes. I will say, and this is just...
Can you imagine the scenario where you step out into the light and then after that person is yelled at, they go, oh my God. I am so sorry.
Yeah, I'll tell you...
That was a huge mistake.
I'll tell you a strange thing, and this harkens a little bit more back to me being called the other word that it was called.
Yeah.
For being
Guilty.
Portuguese. When I do the color correction on the podcast...
Yeah.
And I have to color correct the camera over here, the skin tone between me and Brad...
Mm-hmm.
In real life, to me, if we take a picture together, I don't think about it at all.
Yeah.
But when I start doing the color correction... the skin tone starts getting insane.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm so much more brown and he's so much more pink. Mm-hmm. And it's so hard to play with that saturation level.
But I wouldn't let that guide you in determining what your own, like, racial makeup is. Because I think there are a lot of very white people that could stand next to Brad and people would be like, is Brad with Kanye West? Is that Wesley Snipes? And they're like, oh no, that's not Wesley Snipes. That's Colonel Sanders
standing next to Brad.
That's so fucking funny. That is so good. It's like
I'm sorry.
I can't help how I'm...
That is so good. That is so funny.
Who is that ethnic fellow next to Brad?
I know, I want to do
that's
something.
a Scandinavian judge.
When did Brad meet Arsenio Hall? This is great. That's George Bush.
It's just an alien.
It's one of those grays.
Yes.
From X-Files. Yeah.
Wow.
That is very fun. Oh my God.
Stuff. Stolen valor.
But yeah, this lady on the plane was weird.
Yes.
That was good.
Oh, yes.
It was comical. Like she was like a casted character that's like the oversharing person.
Oh, okay.
So she's on her side of the plane. She did all of the things that you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
The social rule of being on the plane, you're breaking them.
Yeah.
You're breaking the rules. She's on the window seat. I'm on the aisle. There's a woman sitting in the middle seat. She waited until like the drink cart came through, and we got I got my little can of ginger ale. The other lady's got her Coke or whatever. We got our little bag of pretzels or whatever the thing is. And at that point, then when our tray tables are down and everything, that's when she goes, I have to go to the bathroom.
Yep.
Lady, that's like against the rules, right? So we're all like, okay. And we have to hold all that stuff.
It's crazy.
Put the tray table up while figuring out how to hold like a glass with ice and ginger ale and a can and this, and then put the tray up and then stand up and wait. And then she goes, and I'm like, I'm not sitting back down with all this shit. So
of course, exactly.
So me and the woman in the middle seat, we just stand there
in
the aisle waiting for her to come back. She comes back. She does that a few more times. But like,
more than one.
Yeah. Ooh. And the idea of like waiting for the first time to do it for right after drink service or whatever the thing is, right? Snacks or whatever they fucking call it.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like I wasn't mad at her, but I was like, this is wild.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh.
She did a couple other things throughout. She couldn't figure out something on her phone and asked the lady in the middle and myself to like work it out for her. And I'm just like, I'm not your son or son-in-law.
Yeah.
That's stuff that you have to ask them, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was weird. And then, go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of my moves for going to get on an airplane.
Yeah.
You know how, like, it takes a while for people to get situated? Like, you basically go in and then you just wait for a long time?
Yeah.
That's always when I pee now.
Oh,
I
sure,
get on the airplane, I put the thing in the thing, we're all set. Okay, I'm going to pee while we're still on the ground.
Sure.
And then I'm just not going to move no matter what. Like,
Yeah,
if I have an aisle seat, I'm good. I don't
Yeah.
want to bother anybody.
Yeah.
That's when to go, I think.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
No, if I'm window, like, unless it's a very long flight, I'm locked in. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
not going to ask you to get up.
No.
And what I will do is I'll wait for someone else.
Yeah.
When
Sure.
they get up, then I'm like, okay, now I'll go.
Sure.
That's
sure.
fine.
Yeah.
But it was a weird moment, right?
Yeah, use the downtime. That's what I
Yeah.
say. On the plane, there's a lot of weird times where it's just like we're just stuck here. And when you get
Yeah.
off, same thing.
Yeah.
Use the time.
Exactly.
Use it.
And then we landed, and as soon as we landed, her legs started shaking like crazy. She's doing like the most like leg movement shit I've ever seen. And I'm like, does she have to pee again? Right?
Right.
And as we're like taxiing on the runway, and then that's when she turns over. She's like, I've got restless leg syndrome. It's terrible. It's the worst. But meanwhile, it's like, lady, for 4.5 hours, you didn't move your legs at all.
Yeah.
And as soon as we land, you're like, she's just jiggling like crazy. And then the need to tell her seatmates, like, I've got restless leg syndrome. I've had it for a while. It's sleeping. It can be very difficult. And she's just talking about this for too long.
Yep.
That is so funny.
And then she gets on her phone and she's like, Siri, what is the weather outside?
I know.
Right?
All right, so
Ray's phone is answering.
Oh no, my phone is telling me. Hold on. So she goes, Siri, what is the weather outside? Doesn't get it. She goes, Siri, what is the weather outside? And she's yelling at her phone over and over and over and over. And I just want to be like, lady, relax. The pilot's going to tell you in 4 seconds what the fucking weather is, right? They always do it. Also, just look outside.
Yep.
What you're looking for is temperature, I think. You know what I mean? But it was crazy. It was so comical, like all these things happened.
that is really funny.
And I felt like I was in this woman's lighthearted rom-com.
Yeah,
an older woman who
Was she a
finds
hooker?
life. I don't know.
Heart of gold, though.
I mean, we slept together, but I didn't pay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
She paid me.
I was gonna,
all right.
That's what I was just going to
You're
say.
Yeah.
the pretty woman.
Petty woman.
I'm the petty woman.
You're complaining about her behaviors.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, she doesn't just have restless legs. Whoa, let's just put it there.
As you talk about oversharing, let me apologize in advance to Ray, Chuck, any Fun Bears. If you're ever on a flight next to either of my parents,
Really?
yeah, my dad specifically, he'll take like one Popular Mechanics magazine.
Okay,
He has noise canceling headphones that aren't plugged into anything.
sure.
That's fine.
That's fine.
But then he takes like photo books of like the grandkids. From
we're taking a slight turn towards Dafook.
yeah, like you know,
Dafook.
for Christmas every year, my sister will be like, here's a photo album of the kids from the previous year. And so my dad will be like, yeah, I took
know what the perfect
2019,
time is.
2020, and 2021. And my dad will just take those on the plane and it'll look through them and show them to the person next to him and explain, like, this is my grand's. But he's my dad.
Oh no!
I know,
Brad.
I know.
If I sat next to somebody that pulled out fucking photo albums,
I know,
and started to show me, no matter how kind this person may be,
very kind.
At that point, I'm like,
Defook?
Like I'm now rooting for the terrorists. You know what I mean? I'm like, let them, please, come on. That's crazy. I would be looking around the plane and go, where's the air marshal? Because this shit's illegal.
Now,
this shit is illegal. This is assault.
I will say less flying now because my sister has moved to Iowa. It's a drivable distance. So less chances of that happening. But every time he would tell me, I took out the photo album and I showed the guy next to me and I'm like, why? I rode the bus from, O'Hare or Midway or whatever with my dad back to, closer to home so a friend could pick us up. And my dad just made conversation with the guy on the bus and the guy's a trucker and my dad's like, oh, is it interesting driving around like that? Just making small talk. And the guy's like, people don't realize how many hills there are in this country. And I'm like, that's looking amazing. Around like,
that's amazing.
I'm like, somebody else had to have heard this beautiful, like poetry of the road from this gentleman. But I was like, Dad, why did you talk with him? He's like, well, I was sitting next to him. And I'm like,
I think what your dad could do, because there are people out there like this, right?
Yeah.
That like to talk. Yeah. Your dad could look at the photo albums.
Yep.
And kind of just be open and be like, well, if someone says something like, oh, is that your family? You could talk.
That's fine. That's fine.
But I think
he volunteers the information.
That's what I mean.
It also feels like fishing real hard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it does.
I remember that. We got Taco Dog from Madvex.
Really? Looking through the old memories.
So many stories to tell.
So many interesting stories.
I'll say this. So many stories. I don't know about interesting stories.
I like the idea of him going, sorry, I was just laughing about a funny memory I had about this.
my grandkids.
Beautiful grandchild here.
By the way, he,
Brad twisted his pelvis on a homemade water slide that his dad made.
Hold on. I do feel in this scenario, because I just had a moment of feeling like that guy was real.
Yes.
And I just want to point this out. Have you ever been in a scenario? Because I have. I don't know what it is about me in particular, but I have a certain... There's some kind of lighthouse giving thing in me. I think it's because I'm a big guy, so people's eyes are drawn in public. And then I also am kind, and I look directly in someone's eye when they are speaking to me. And so... I will often, people are drawn to me. Yeah. People that are like that are drawn in to talk to me. And I'm also, remember, I will polite you to the fucking grave.
Yep.
I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
There have been many times where someone does the thing. I was just, and then they're now you're in.
Yep.
And there is a moment where you go, oh God,
I'm in.
Yeah. Like I've been pulled into this thing.
Yeah.
And you feel like, oh, it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going now. This is the beginning. This is the beginning, and this person needs to tell me this stuff. Does that make sense?
Oh, for sure. 100%.
I think our viewer listeners probably feel that way.
Yes.
Right when they get to the hello and welcome to another episode, they're like, oh no.
They're going to tell us everything.
Yeah. And then on the flight back,
okay,
I was sitting next to, this time I was window seat, and I was sitting next to a guy flying back. Very nice guy. He's in the Army. He's like a 20s kid.
Yeah.
We chatted briefly at the very end of the flight.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I want. Maybe a hello at the beginning, a joke about the seats, and then a wow, crazy flight at the end.
That's what we did. Like I was sitting window, he came in and sat middle, and I turned to him and I just went, sorry, I'm such a big guy.
Yeah.
Like I just did that, right? And he turns to me, he's like, oh, no, don't worry about it. That was it. That was our conversation. And then he slept most of the flight. I watched a movie.
Yeah.
And I touched him a couple of times.
Yeah, just a couple of times.
Just a couple.
Yeah.
Just a couple.
Yeah.
It's a flight.
I'm bored.
I'm a bored guy.
Sorry that I need stimulation.
What is that?
That's his little penis.
Oh,
I thought it was a cup of hot coffee.
I thought you had like painted his toenails.
No, you have his penis. He's sleeping, so you're like seeing if it'll react.
What the hell?
This turned from a light, innocent groping of a sleeping person, and you made it
You
gross.
made it gross.
His pants are on. It's through his pants.
That's fine. Yeah, yeah. But I will say, like, he turned to me, a nice guy. He's doing his time at Fort whatever that is in the Denver area, Fort Collins.
Sounds right.
Yeah. But when he turned to me and went, "Oh no, it's fine." When he turned, we were like eye to eye, very close together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This kid was so whacked out on something. On something. Like, he turns, he's like, "That's fine." His pupils are like, whoa. And the look on his face, and I want it to be like, it was such a moment where I'm 41. This kid is like 22 or 23.
Yeah.
And he's gacked out of his mind on something.
Gack.
Yeah. And I think that's Coke, but whatever. Whatever he was on, that's why he slept
He
most
did
of the
say
trip.
all glory to the Hypnotoad.
Yeah. He was really like, rah, the whole time. I'm sure when I said, "Sorry, I'm so big," he heard something else. He's like, "That's fine." Oh, God damn it.
This past time when I went to Colorado, same week, I decided to take Xanax for both flights.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, why not?
Sure.
Why not just check out a little bit?
I met a really friendly octopus on the flight.
I'm not taking the way they prescribe Xanax is like 0.5 milligrams.
Yeah.
So it doesn't affect you like crazy.
No. I
It just
used to
makes you
take
like,
it
who cares?
for every flight. But that's before I was like really flying for comedy. And now it's like, there's so many flights. If I took Xanax for flying, like I would be a Xanny head. You know what I mean? I would just be whacked. I'd be gacked out.
Yeah.
But it was so funny to turn to this kid and then just be like, "Oh, you are straight up Fear and Loathing right now.
Yeah.
You are Fear and Loathing in Colorado." And it was nice because I felt like a paternal instinct toward the kid, where I'm like, "You're a young little soldier.
Yeah.
You're serving your time in the U.S. military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Protecting our freedoms.
Yep.
And here I am, a man who can appreciate my life because you put yours on the line." Anyway, no, but I did feel like this paternal thing. I'm like, I'm going to take care of this kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good.
And by we chatted a little bit at the end of the flight, and he asked me what I was doing in Denver and stuff like that. And usually I'm just like, just work, and I avoid saying I'm a comedian because then that's a whole conversation I don't really want to have. But I told him I was there for shows, and I'm like, "You want to come to a show?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, what's your name?" And he asked me the stuff. I'm like, "Look on my schedule. If you reach out to me, tickets are on me, whatever."
That's cool.
So that way I can say, "Hey, let's give it up for the troops. Let's give it up for the troops." There he is, right there. There's a troop. I found a troop. He's gacked out of his mind.
Let's give it up for the troop.
That's the troop, yeah.
Yeah. But no, it was very, like, those moments were very cartoonish.
Yeah.
Usually on a flight, what it is like, "Hi, yeah, sorry, okay." And then that's it.
I know.
And then I get off the plane. Like, that's the situation. But it was so funny to have that little old lady be the most, like, it felt like an Impractical Jokers. I'm not describing it well enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's funny.
The amount of, like, what's going on now that
Yeah.
kept happening. And I'm looking over at the middle seat lady, and we're both like, what the fuck with this lady?
I like the idea that she hands you the phone. You're like, "I guess I'll take a look at it." And you look at the apps, and it's like Pornhub, FetLife, Chuck's OnlyFans, and you're like,
DoorDash for fentanyl?
Yeah.
What is that? What is that? And then the military kid's like, that's a good app. Actually, that's a really good app
"I'm gonna need that app. I confiscate your app."
for the country.
for the country.
But no, Denver was great. We're getting close to an unbearable time on this podcast, but it was really fun. I see the appeal for sure.
Yeah.
Of going there. I'd love to do it again. I'm sure Mark is going to have me back and to do another run.
Great.
I really enjoyed the run. It was a lot of fun. It was great meeting a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stories that are more just like stand-up comic things. It feels a little hacky to get into it, but it was really fun, and the people were great. That's
Good.
what I will say about Denver and the surrounds.
Nice.
Look forward to doing it again. If you are someone that I met in Denver and you're watching this episode, because it's coming out pretty much after I got back, thank you. Had a great time. Keep listening. It gets better.
It might.
Once we get the worm
Yes.
On mic.
Yeah.
We're going to do a
I've
gotcha.
seen some stuff.
I hope next time you go, our schedules can line up more. Because I had a really busy week. We had a lot of plans. We already had planned this for like our 6-month like trip to Estes Park, and it just didn't line up. So hopefully next time,
it's okay.
Go,
I totally understand. I get it. I sat in the condo, just thought about maybe doing something. I did think about going to Meow Wolf.
Yeah, it was awesome. I
went?
with Natalie.
This trip?
No.
Okay, good.
I went like the second time I went out there. I think in like March or February.
I wanted to do it.
It's like a movie set.
Yeah.
It's like multiple movie sets all connected. It's very, very fun and interesting.
Meow Wolf is an interactive art installation. They have a few across the country. I got super excited when I realized there was one in Denver, but I didn't go, because I was by myself.
Right.
Yeah.
And that doesn't seem fun, especially for that kind of interactive
I think it's way
thing.
more fun to go with someone.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, you can spend anywhere from like 2 hours to 6 or 8 hours there, depending on how involved you want to get with like storylines that are happening.
Yes.
Ultimately, I decided not to go because the Denver one is, the theme there is like it's a sort of Men in Black style, like alien airport. Is that the kind of?
It feels a little post-apocalyptic as well.
Oh, maybe they changed it though.
There's a huge castle inside, which is really cool, and it's like a Transformer battle. It's really cool.
Oh, maybe they changed it because when I looked at it, it was the
There's some
the
stuff
theme
that,
was.
There's some stuff that feels a little bit like Fifth Element or like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a main area with like a bus and things
Got
like that.
it. Okay, so it's
cool.
still that, yeah. But the one in Las Vegas is where I first heard about Meow Wolf.
Okay.
And I want to go to that one very badly.
Got it.
It's called Omega Mart. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. The whole thing is you go in and it's like a grocery store.
Okay.
Called Omega Mart.
Yeah.
And everything there is just weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They have a small section like that in Denver of that place.
Yeah, see,
it's
this
cool.
is why I want to go there because
The fake products.
Yeah, the fake products that are all like weird and twisted and all that stuff,
Yeah.
twisted TM. And then to continue on it, there's a kind of like you get sucked into a portal situation, right? You do that. You go through like I think like one of the coolers. You open the door of one of the coolers, and then you're into this other place, and then it becomes a different thing. Mm-hmm. And there's like a storyline of like overlords and stuff like that, and it's really fun.
Yeah, it's cool.
I wanted to go so badly for that because I'm a real sucker for that level, that version of. I think because of the marketing stuff, the marketing background, whenever you take like a thing and turn it like that, a product, a known product, and turn it into this other thing, that's when I'm like, I'm in. I love this. I want that. Like I want to buy a carton of their milk that's like corn milk instead of like oat milk. It's corn milk. And I'm like, this is great. Give me that. I love it. But so when I found out it wasn't that, I was like, okay, I don't feel as bad.
Yeah.
But if you're there next time and I'm there,
I'm down to do it.
We'll go.
Yeah, there's a lot of great. I mean, we went to this awesome restaurant.
and Natalie can come too.
We went to this awesome restaurant.
I'm sorry because I realized I was like, you and I, we'll go.
Yeah. No, there's a place called Ophelia's. It's a restaurant, and the top floor is it looks down on a stage. So the bottom floor, it's music. There's a stage. There's people checking out like it's a venue. Second floor is an actual restaurant. Food is incredible, and the entire bar top is all made up of old like pinball machines, all lit up.
Oh, that's fun.
And all the decor is 70s porn posters, like huge ones, screen printed ones. And it's like
I can't go.
it's very fun.
I can't go to that.
No. Why?
Just like I would feel so humiliated if they had one of my posters up.
But it was really great. The food was incredible. It was one of my favorite dining experiences in Denver for sure.
I was in Danny Does Dallas.
When we went to Meow Wolf,
You were Dallas.
she was
I was Does.
Natalie was in like on the ground floor of one of these places that's kind of like a trash heap of all the alien stuff.
Yeah.
And I was up on like a like way higher, and I'm like, oh, let me take pictures of you, kind of being like wow, look at all this stuff. Like I'm so crazy, it's so confusing. And I just filmed her, and I'm like, all right, keep doing it. And she's like, and Natalie is, I know you haven't met her, you know her a little bit. She's such an over-actor, so her face is like, like trying to do things, and she'd stop, and I'd go like this, and she would keep doing it. And so I have this hilarious 2-minute video of her doing that in the middle with all these people around her.
That's very fun.
It was cool though. It was a very cool experience.
Yeah.
Really, really fun.
Man, that photo idea, like I was thinking about that with our live show, the live recording, the podcast recording, which will be out at some point soon.
Yeah. Waiting for the audio still.
I'll have a chat.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
He's a busy man.
He is a busy man. I mean,
He's
there's
a very nice
guy
to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love him.
What are you writing?
Kill him.
But we took pictures with people after the show. You know, they wanted to take pictures, which was awesome. It was great. It was very
awesome.
lovely.
Yeah.
I got a lovely email from Aubrey.
I didn't see that. Yes.
I forwarded it to you guys because she had some lovely things to say. Aubrey is she saw me at the City Steam in Hartford, Connecticut.
Yes.
For shows. And then she started listening to the podcast, and she loves the podcast.
Yes.
And so she came out to she had written in. And we read her email on the podcast, and then she came to the live show. It was fantastic. So she emailed me, and I threw her tickets for a show that's happening in West Hartford.
Nice.
I don't know why I needed to say that part. So I'm going to see her again, but that's nice. And we'll take a picture, and then we'll keep room for you two, and we'll Photoshop you in.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
But she had lovely things to say. Read the email. I sent it.
Yeah, well,
to
maybe
you.
we can read it on the 100th episode thing.
Maybe.
If it's maybe.
No, it's not appropriate.
Okay.
She says positive things about you guys, but then says a lot of negative things about you guys. So
that's how I feel about me as well.
I was walking today, and she actually pulled her car next to me.
Oh no.
Aubrey, hate crime to Chuck.
Yikes. But I do think it's that thing when I take pictures after a show. That's what I was going to say. Like when we did those pictures, and then when I do shows, like when I was in Denver and taking pictures with people after shows, right? That kind of thing happens. It is weird when someone's taking those pictures and maybe doesn't know how the camera on that phone works.
Yeah.
Like someone hands them a phone and they're like, which is weird because it's like, guys, there's like 2 phones.
Yeah.
There's 2 phones. If you don't know how to do it, there's 2 phones. But usually it's like the flash won't work or whatever it is. And all the time I'm in my pose or position where I'm just like, I'm smiling.
I know.
And I have over time made sure my hands and arms are appropriate.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Always appropriate.
The hover.
I do a hover. A lot of times I won't even put my arms out. I'll just keep them, and I'm like, look, I'm going to get close to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's you determine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to assume you want my hand over you.
Yeah.
You know, you dictate. I'll follow your lead.
Yeah.
Right? And that so many times it's ended in sex.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I'm outside of a comedy club.
You're following their lead.
I feel like what's safe is a arm resting on the shoulder, not hand on the shoulder, but arm resting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's good.
Well, I got
hand honking the
I
boot.
got a lot of wingspan, so whenever I do an arm over, my hand is now on the other person on the other side, and now I'm like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean?
Tickle their ear.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do a little tug of hair on the back. Ding. Just a little ding.
Any brainworms?
And then when they look over at me, I go like this. I go to the person I'm immediately next to, and they think it's them, and then they fight.
And it ends in sex.
It does always. But no, my point is like that moment when they're figuring out the camera and you're in the pose with a person that is it's great that they enjoy the thing that you do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you want to be, I appreciate that ultimately, truly. But I'm also an awkward person. So I'm like, I'm in the thing and I'm like, silent. What kills me is the silence. Because everybody's smiling.
I know.
And then we're all just there.
I know.
And every part of my being is like, say a nice thing, quick. Say a nice thing.
I know.
It goes back to the bathroom that got the knob that got broken. You know?
Yeah, I know it.
It's the same little worm in my brain that
I know.
tells me
We
that.
had a few of those moments after the 100th episode. I feel like in that crowd taking pictures.
Yeah. And it was lovely that it happened.
It really was. Yeah,
But
we'll talk about it.
Enough of this effing and jeffing.
Mm-hmm.
We need to fucking leave. We never end an episode this way, but truly this episode feels like it should.
Yes.
We need to fucking leave.
All right. Well, folks, thank you all so much for sticking around with us for these tales of altitude, alcohol,
Adderall.
brainworms.
And, brainworms.
We appreciate you. Send us an email, funbearablepod@gmail.com, or find us on socials at funbearablepod. Always happy to hear from all y'all. For Ray Harrington and Chuck Staten and our respective brainworms, I'm Brad Rohr saying thank you so much, and we're sorry for being funbearable.
I like the idea of brainworms giving you different attributes.
Mm-hmm. I like brainworms a lot. I never thought of it before or heard of it, and now I can blame so many things on my brainworms.
You know what's sad, though? I think eventually the brainworms are going to get to a point where you won't remember that you know about brainworms.
Ooh, what if a brainworm like knows a lot of cool facts? Like this brainworm is a trained chef, and I'm like, I got to kill that guy and get that brainworm in my brain.
Oh, it's like the Matrix where you just upload like skills.
Yeah, except you're not uploading it like
brain worm.
Yeah, it's a worm.
Oh wow. Yeah. I think at some point I'm just gonna be run by brainworms. Like the brain is gonna be gone. It's gonna be a collection
at some point.
Oh, I think at some point on this show, on this podcast, there's gonna be a moment where your skin visibly is like undulating. It's moving a lot because it's all worm under it. And then you split open. It's very much like a scary stories to tell in the dark situation, where you break open, it's all worm. You're the fucking boogeyman from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oogie Boogie.
Yep.
Yeah, when he gets opened up, he's all worm. Are those brainworms? We don't know. Those are maggots.
Some of them probably brainworms.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes sense because a car pulled up. I was walking down the street the other day.
Yep.
And a car pulled up, and a guy yelled something. I thought it was something else, but I think he was saying maggot. I think he was saying, you have a big fat maggot in you.
Yes.
Not what the other thing I was thinking.
Stolen valor.
Yeah. I still said thank you. I was like, wow, thank you very much.